Hello one, hello all. This is a special edition of Show Business. I just got back from a early screening of Independence Day Resurgence, and I noticed something that's quite clear. On top of the fact that Finding Dory is just continuing to dominate, there's something that Hollywood is just playing to, and it's not America. So to further discuss both children's movies and this worldwide phenomenon that is Hollywood exporting, I have two gentlemen. First, I have Skinslip. Why don't you say hello?
Hi, I'm not a gentleman.
I was trying to be polite.
That's fine. I'm just clarifying for the audience. I'm not actually a gentleman.
Yes, this is his show business debut. And making his second appearance on this show and channel is Stoudman. Stoudman, why don't you say hello to everyone again?
Hello again.
This is exciting. So, like I said, I was at the theater twice this week. Once during the day, and the holy crap, Finding Dory is really this big a deal. That happened on Wednesday, where like it was sold out show, just
Wow.
chaos. Kids, teenagers, adults. It was a mess. And I was at a sold out show of The Fast and the Furious. So whatever you want to talk about with that, that's a completely different episode. And then today, seeing Independence Day Resurgence, they literally went out of their way to make characters that appease China, where they have these Chinese characters that are heroes, so to speak. They're strong characters in the storyline now. Um, so, other than the kids movies, which always seem to work to some degree, like is it time to worry about America yet? Like officially?
Let's understand the reason why kids' movies work is because usually there's just one of them, and when your kids are fucking barking at you and you want to go to a movie. I'm sorry, I didn't know if you want to keep this
No,
PG.
you're good. You're good. Fuck,
Okay.
fuck. Cunt.
If you got your kids nagging at you and your wife's like, fuck, get the kids out of this house before I murder all of you in your sleep, and you go, okay, we're going to a movie, and your only choice is whatever kids movie. That's what it is a lot of the time. It's not like it was when there was like two or three because you had Don Bluth and Disney duking it out in the 80s
Mm-hmm.
all the way into the early 90s. Like that. It doesn't happen now. I mean, it was early 2000s, so DreamWorks and Pixar and Disney all kind of duking it out. But now 2 or 3 of those are together in one company, and the other one is what is DreamWorks doing? I don't know. Does DreamWorks know?
Oh, are they even a company anymore? That's a good point.
I don't know. I haven't heard shit from them. So.
DreamWorks Animation, I think, still exists. Yeah.
But
Good
I think
point.
we are starting to see a lot of that now, though. I mean, if you look at what's in theaters right now and
Well,
what's going to be in theaters.
I'm speaking only about previously. Why they've been working recently. Why it doesn't matter if it's a shitty animated movie, it just works. Well, I wonder why it did okay, because I got 9 kids and they want to go see a movie, and they're not going to go see rated R movie number 3 that I want to see, or PG-13 movie I want to see. I
Yeah.
want to see a kids movie.
The interesting thing to me is, like, if you look at the foreign total for Finding Dory, it's actually fairly low, even in comparison to, like, Toy Story 3 and stuff like that. And I don't think it's made it into every foreign market yet, but it's made it into China, and China only spent $17 million on Finding Dory. So
And Finding Dory
It's-
is $100 million off of Shrek and Minions, to be fair.
it's really strange. Like, this one is not catching on. Other Pixar movies, other animated family movies do well in China and do well in those markets, but this one is not.
Can I
Finding-
show my ignorance here for a second?
Well, it says here that worldwide. Oh, I see. Foreign gross is only 50 million. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
79% of the gross
column.
is actually in America right now.
Yeah.
Could it I don't know. Listen, I know that we eat different things than everybody else. What is China's take on fish and certain fish?
I don't know, but it just might be that this film might be too culturally specific.
Okay.
That's
Like
true.
West, it just doesn't translate well, or
Chinese
perhaps
people
it had
might
a
not
bad
be
trailer.
Yeah.
Like who knows? Could have bad marketing in other countries. It's not always handled by Disney, right? It's oftentimes piecemealed out to other countries, depending on if they have their own branch there and the deals and whatnot. It's always vagaries. Like a movie made by Fox here is released by MGM there
Right,
and
right,
Sony
right.
there, and you're like, whoa, well, son of a bitch. That's why there's a Blu-ray there for that movie, but not anywhere else. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's all that vagaries and shit.
Stabman, what were you going to say? What?
I'm just thinking about well, it's a movie that takes place, I'm sure, largely in coral reef locations, and I'm just wondering how familiar a Chinese audience is going to be with locations like that.
Yeah, like how many people from the center of China get to the beach, get to know about the beach, give a shit about the beach.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that has nothing to do. May have nothing to do with it. Maybe it doesn't open until next week, and we don't know that. Or maybe it did. Who knows?
It did.
Say,
They made
it
some
did?
17.9 in China. Yeah.
In China? Wow. How many theaters though?
That's the thing. We don't know.
Maybe it wasn't a wide release yet. Like who knows? Maybe maybe after that week, maybe after this week, because it did 50 million. Maybe it's a wider release. Maybe it has a big weekend.
Another reason is Warcraft is just annihilating over there.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about Warcraft.
For as terrible as it is everywhere else, China is just gobbling that movie up.
What? I hear it's getting unfairly shat upon, but
10% of its gross is made in America. It's made $40 million in America.
Yeah, well, so did Pacific Rim. I mean, it did badly here too. We're finally gonna get a sequel to that. Thank you. But
yeah.
I mean, it took a couple of years, right?
No, you're right. You know what? Just because a movie doesn't make money that doesn't mean much. It's just
here. It doesn't make money here. It's made money elsewhere. It's got to make money somewhere. That's the thing.
Yeah, sure. But what I think it made what, 200 million in China? Warcraft.
Pacific Rim. Oh, Warcraft. I don't know. Pacific Rim, I think it did almost 300 million in China.
It's made it. I mean that kind of plays into one perspective that I was kind of getting into is, like I said, Independence Day 2. They literally they go out of their way to have these characters, and they mention China and the characters are strong and heavily relied upon, and it was just like, man, this is so odd. Like what?
Well, it's only odd because we haven't seen it, but it shouldn't be odd, right? Shouldn't all countries be represented in the film culture that is global? Like if the blockbusters makes money globally, shouldn't all the countries that this movie is expected to be successful also have characters they can relate to? I mean, just a thought.
Yeah, I guess to a certain degree, yes.
Obviously, I mean, not to the compromise of the quality of the film ever. I mean, of course.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of it kind of shines a light on the way that they've been doing things. If they just kind of segued into it a little bit, had a bit of a transition, instead of just like going from. Holy shit! What?
Independence Day is releasing in 4,000 theaters.
You guys didn't believe me. I'm telling you, it's gonna be fucking huge.
Holy crap! Legend of Tarzan is releasing in 3,000 plus.
I was gonna say about Finding Dory. I think I figured out maybe one of the reasons why it hasn't made a lot of money foreign. If you look at other Pixar movies, they make most of their foreign money from the UK and from Japan, and it hasn't released in either of those markets yet. So that's probably why.
Yeah, Warcraft has made 204 million in China.
I will say this about Independence Day. I can understand the kind of confusion, but at the same time, I feel like, well, the first movie really did set up this, and if it's a sequel, if it's truly a sequel, the first movie sets up this whole global village kind of thing where everybody works together to try and accomplish a goal.
It's no longer 4th of July is no longer a
yeah,
U.S. holiday. It's
yeah,
staying
exactly.
in the movie, you know.
Yeah, they do cover that too. It's
Yeah.
I like that. Like it becomes a worldwide holiday, and that's a really cool like thing to do as a writer, right? And then you get to play with that now.
yeah.
Yeah, that's I feel like what they're trying to do maybe with that. And
I'm excited about it. I really am.
Just based on that, I'm feeling like, well, that's a decent segue. You know what I mean? That's a decent like explanation for why there are now a bunch of Chinese people there. Yes, it maybe feels forced, but it's also like, well, it's kind of a part of that.
But did it feel forced that a good chunk of Transformers: Dark of the Moon took place? Or, sorry, Age of Extinction took place in China?
I
mean, yeah, I didn't like it enough to remember. But, I mean, like, I don't... I mean, like, that series is hugely popular. You're damn sure that it's gonna a chunk of it's going to take place in China when the last night finally comes out. That's going to happen, you know? There's no reason why it wouldn't.
Yeah.
So I think what we're seeing here is we're finally seeing the inclusion of countries that matter to the box office of these films, and I think it's about damn time, honestly. And maybe it won't feel so shoehorned after it happens for a while, you know.
Yeah. The problem is in Independence Day, there's China. There's a guy from Africa who rides along with people. They have the German flag. They have all this stuff, but the focus, this strong attention to China. The general's from China. One of the pilots is from China, and she's like this superstar where people when she lands on the moon, they have a battle station on the moon now. She lands on the moon. Everybody's waiting for her autograph and stuff. It's just like, putting something in is one thing, but like shoehorning like this praise is kind of another where I don't know. Like people don't like it when the Coca-Cola bottle faces the screen. So I mean, it's no different.
Well, people need to get over that shit because that's going to get more common as commercials get devalued in the marketplace. Product placement is going to be the primary form of marketing. And I'll tell you what, if there's a bottle and it's not obstructing, it's not obtrusive, and it's not distracting in a scene, who gives a shit? Who cares?
Oh no, I know, I'm with you. I really am.
Oh no, the Coke bottle's facing the screen. God forbid someone got to get their shit paid for. Like
yeah,
God.
Yeah, I know.
I get paid for somehow.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Hint, he will totally be an endorsement deal.
Excuse me. I'm just so parched.
Yeah, hold on. I'm so hungry. Hold on. Let me just. And you guys want sodas and shit, motherfucker. I want cookies. All right, that's all I'm saying.
This is just so delicious.
These are literally like chocolate crack, and I just launched my.
No, that won't sell. You got a very limited market that you're aiming at with that.
I can't stop eating them. I eat like a bag a day. It's stupid.
So.
Wow.
It's only 8 cookies. It's really not a lot of cookies.
That is annoying how they really. Like, all right, yeah, I get it. Maybe small kids can make this last, but
I'm a fat man. I'm eating these cookies. I may look skinny. I'm not. There's a fat guy in here, and he wants back in.
Yeah, one bag is a bit of a tease. I love. Jim says, "I love vanilla Coke. We don't have it in my area of Wisconsin." Well, then I would not be able to live in Wisconsin because I am addicted.
You want to live in Wisconsin?
Oh, there's areas that are certainly.
I have no problem visiting. I'm kidding. I did want to be in this stream. I'm not nice. I'm not a gentleman. To be fair.
Back to movies.
Yeah.
So
Skinslip derailment.
Yeah, I think that in terms of the film industry, what's happening is that. Yes, it's becoming more of a global village, but out of necessity for them because they don't know how to sell to American audiences anymore. They feel like if they keep selling the same thing, like they should be able to keep making money doing the same thing over and over again, which is the definition of fucking insanity. But, they found a way to make it work because now they don't have to care about whether or not it's successful here because they can sell it into markets that haven't necessarily always been approachable before. You know what I mean? So
Well,
the audience, like countries like China now are a lot more approachable, a lot easier to get your content into than it used to be. So you can make a lot more money off of foreign markets than you used to be able to from their perspective, and therefore, these audiences, this kind of stuff is new to them, or it's newer and more interesting than it might be to American audiences. So they can still make money off of these old and tired concepts in that market. So they're going to keep doing these old and tired concepts.
Now, I'd like to point out that just like in the 70s, as my good friend Stoudman here likes to point out, the new Hollywood trend, demographics are drastically changing, and old folks in Hollywood don't understand them anymore because that important 16 to 30 to 28,
24.
whatever that
It's
demographic
24. Yeah.
Thank you. That demographic, they don't like the same things. They want something different. They're the people on Twitter doing shit posts. Hi, Ariel, if you ever watch this. She knows who I'm talking about. Anyway, I trust me. I have a whole section on my Twitter to these young that demographic in Letterboxd. I don't understand them at all, so I'm like observing them like a weirdo, and they're just like it's just shit posting like memes, like awful memes, and you just can't get a sense of what these people like. They like such varied and drastic things, and they're so divided and. It's weird. It's completely different than what we see in our generation. It's interesting. I'm not saying that they're just fragmented in their interests, and so there's so many. It's so hard for like the older folks, me included, to just kind of grasp that and understand it. It's not something you can just grasp by the horns and immediately get, right? You got to hold on for a long time and truly get it. So Hollywood's just doing this. They're like, did that work? No. How about that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? What's funny? It feels like these theater chains, at least some of the ones that I've been to, the AMC, the Regal, they're making a conscious effort. They're doing these things like, all right, well, people aren't coming out to movies as much. Let's try to make it a more appealing place. They're putting in these reclining leather seats. They're putting all types of different food, which granted that that is more for their back end, the concession stand.
Makes it more inviting actually for
right,
actually.
right. These theater
dinner
chains.
and the movie means something when they're in the same place,
Right, they're consciously making an effort to make the experience better, but the problem is people aren't showing up because that great big white thing on the wall isn't worthy of whatever the fuck is being projected on it. Like, I don't know. It's so strange. It's remake, sequel, cartoon, remake, sequel, cartoon, superhero movie.
Superhero movies. Yeah. It's interesting you guys talking about that, about the way that they're kind of turning it into a home theater in the theater. That's what I think of it, anyways.
Yeah.
Like they took a look at what we're selling. Like
now, that's why.
They took a look at what people were doing. They're like, how do people watch the movies? Well, they watch movies while they're eating, dinner or something like that at home on their fucking couch.
In comfy chairs with friends and family,
Let's give that to them in a theater setting. That's what they're trying to do there. But it's not working, like you said, because the movie isn't worth paying all that much money to see and then paying a bunch of money for the food and all that stuff that you're going to have to get.
Well, I mean, it's like they actually have to compete with home theaters because, seriously, I've got a comfy chair and pretty decent headphones. If you can't beat that and my ability to eat whatever junk food I have laying around, then you're going to have a problem.
And I can sit close enough to my TV that it almost feels like I'm in a theater.
And the thing is making your home theater has been way more affordable than it ever has been. For $1,000, you can get a big fucking TV, a sound system, and speakers for $1,000.
Yeah.
And it is good stuff, not cheap shit. That used to be really entry level. Entry level used to be $1,000. That's mid range now. That's
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
thing, you know. Entry level is
Yes.
like $600 for the whole fucking thing. Shitty
For
TV,
about a
shitty
G, yeah, for
speakers,
about
yeah.
a G, you could get better quality than we had at the turn of the century in the
Exactly.
movie theater.
Ah, yeah. No, your speakers is just as good. You just have less of them.
Uh-huh.
Instead of 16.7 setup, you've got a 7.1 or a 5.1 or whatever, you know. And
Yeah.
you can mimic that if you just get a second receiver and set up a whole other thing, you know.
I mean, and
It's
people,
doable.
it's I don't know who needs to hear this or what, but people like going to the movies. There's a bit of a experience to it. Um, a lot of people, $2+ billion worth of tickets were sold to The Force Awakens because it was a pretty decent movie. People liked it. Um, I don't think that the home theater thing is entirely to blame.
No, of
I
course
think
not. No, there's no one thing. You cannot blame it on any one thing. Economy has a lot to do with the decline in sales. I mean, there's
I
a
think the
whole
quality of
bunch.
the stuff. I think the quality
That,
of the
of course.
films is a lot to do with it.
Oh, absolutely. That always does. I
The
mean,
quality and
the
just
point is, it's
not
everything.
being,
You know, it's not just
yeah.
one thing. You know.
Another thing being then that it's just a lot of the things they're putting out there are not things that people want to see anymore. Like they've seen it a million times before and they're fucking tired of it. They're done. They don't want to see it anymore. But like I said, other
Yeah.
audiences in other parts of the world do want to see it, so they keep making it.
Yep.
And I don't know what to do about that. I mean, I really like.
You need to
I
take shit.
want them to do what they did during the new Hollywood movement. I want them to start giving a little bit of money here and there to otherwise unknown directors. Heck, give money to directors like Duncan Jones. Give money to directors like Gareth Evans. Give money to all these, somewhat well-known directors, younger, not as much experience in the industry, and don't give them the fucking tent pole that they don't want. They have like rejected the tent poles. They're like, we want to go and do our own thing, and that's what I want to see too. Like, I'm glad. I'm sure they're really happy that they have a steady career in the industry, right?
Absolutely. Of course.
But at least some of them are thinking to themselves, I don't want to do this big tentpole movie. I want to do my own thing. And I wish the studios would recognize that and give them the chance to do that, because that's very much what the new Hollywood was about. It was the studios saying, okay, we don't know what the young people want to see anymore. Let's throw this at a wall, throw some money at this guy, and have him put something
It,
out there and see what
it's
happens.
happening to an extent, but it's VOD, not theatrical. And here's the
Well,
thing. I think that's the future right now. Theaters are going to be blockbusters, special exhibitions, and that's it. And and then you'll have the independent theaters that will show indie films, films that are on VOD that want to get like a theatrical screening, like through like A24 or Magnolia or Magnet. Some of all these companies that do small theater run or big theater runs through small theaters across the country, and then also do VOD. That's the future. That's happening now. That's going to continue, I think. And I think that like you say, you want them to give more money. I think eventually they're gonna see that, and you're gonna see a glut of movies released on VOD, a glut of $5 million movies. Eventually,
yeah, but
I wish it would be sooner rather than later. But
I think CP's feeling the same way that I do, which is to say, like, I wish that this would happen in theaters too. I wish that they
me
would be
too.
releasing these movies in theaters.
Some will get theatrical run, like It Follows. It's a perfect example. It's a low budget. It's basically an indie film that got a theatrical run. Like
The hope,
it can happen.
the thing that gives me hope is The Shallows, because that to me is a movie that's kind of exemplary of something. Okay, yes, they're trying to run off of kind of the popularity of stuff like Jaws, but it's been a while since we saw a movie like Jaws, right? So it's maybe it's not totally fresh, but it's a lot more fresh than some of the stuff that we've been seeing lately.
Recently,
And
it's Sharknado shit
what
sauce.
surprises the hell out of me is that a movie like this which I don't know what the budget was on it, but I don't think it was like a huge budget. And I think it's kind of exemplary of the kind of movie I'm talking about here.
Mhm.
It is going to be in over 2,800 theaters.
Well, we talked about it a few weeks ago. How we looking at the trailer, we kind of guessed it's probably between $10 and $20 million, right? For the Shallows. I mean, it's
At
got a fair
least.
amount of yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's very good, and there was an ovation after the audience saw it tonight with a
What
friend of
blows my
mine.
mind is that
So,
I had no idea it was going to be released in 2,800 theaters. To me, it's a movie like Neon Demon or Swiss Army Man. It's a
both
movie
of which are
that
getting tons of
you're
releases.
lucky if it gets into a few hundred theaters, right? So the fact that it's releasing in as many theaters as a major movie to me is like that's kind of Hollywood saying we don't know what you want, so here, let's hope this works. You
I
know,
think I think Swiss Army Man is going to a wider release next week, if I remember
probably.
correctly. I don't know if it's. I think it's going to be less than 2,000 theaters, I imagine. But Neon Demon, that's actually a pretty big release considering. But I think that's because Nicholas Winding Refn more than anything else. You know,
Mm.
he's got some name power, especially in the art house crowd. And oh, I can't wait to see that movie.
What's weird is I don't know how much control the theater chains have over this, how much it is the studios, but it's like you said, Stoudman. There's a bit of interest in some of these independent movies that really have quite a decent amount of buzz with word of mouth. Um, it's just odd for some of them not to get like I don't even know. Like somebody brought it up earlier, I think today. Um, like maybe make it one day where all right, we're gonna have the green room on Thursday all day. We're not we can't have it whatever, but we're gonna have it at least Thursday. So if you want to see it, you make a way to come out and see it. It's
Major
just
event.
strange. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and then if you really want that stuff to continue and to succeed, you go out and you make it. You you go out and support it because if the theater sees that, oh wow, we have this little nothing movie and it's selling out and it's beating out everything else we have in the building, it's got to start saying something. Because like I said, I was at a 15-year-old movie on Wednesday that was damn near sold out, and I saw the first Independence Day today. They had this little package thing where you get like a twofer for like an abbreviated price, and that was sold out. So like it's strange how people like would rather watch old stuff than what they're giving us. Like it's just so
Walking Blue
odd.
right in. You respond. Ugh, this guy again. That's great. Sorry.
But
No,
yeah, I'm not too surprised by that because people are really nostalgic for a certain era right now. Um, one thing that I've noticed, I'm writing about Ninja Turtles all the fucking time, right? And over the years, as I've written, like certain things have faded in and out of popularity, right? So the 1987 cartoon was pretty popular for nostalgia up until I guess probably about 2 years ago, and then it just nobody really cared that much about it anymore.
hmm.
Um, and then recently, the stuff that's really been coming into popularity for nostalgia's sake is the 1990 movie and the sequel. Um, People are
Hmm.
just really nostalgic for the 90s TMNT movies and for anything that's related to the Ninja Turtles in the 90s. And I'm seeing that not just with Ninja Turtles, but everything. The 90s and nostalgia for the 90s right now in 2016 is hotter than it has ever been.
Legends
And
of
it
Hidden Temple
was
still in a movie, for God's sakes.
last year we had the sequel to Jurassic Park come out in theaters, and it did gangbusters. It made tons of fucking money, And I believe part of that is because of that nostalgia for the 90s is coming in there right now. And that's why I have a feeling that Independence Day Resurgence is going to make a lot of money. Whether or not we think it's a good movie, American audiences are going to go see that movie in droves. And then you just mentioned
Guys, Legends
it's
of the
being
Hidden
sold.
Temple is getting a movie. If that doesn't prove the 90s is big right now, I don't know what. You know, Voltron just rebooted, and that was an 80s property, but it also was a 90s property, guys. There's a 90s series that's pretty well regarded, wrongfully so, in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there.
It seems we've ran out of stuff from the 80s, and now Hollywood is ready to bank on 90s, since most of those kids who grew up in that time period have now grown up old enough to spend money on this kind of type of stuff. Yeah.
To an extent, yeah.
I think 99's is being big that
90s.
because 90s, because kids that grew up on it are now in their 30s and have some money to spend on stuff that we grew up on. And
no,
you're right,
kids who
Aaron.
grew up in the 90s are in their 20s now. The kids who grew up in the 80s, like moi, are in their 30s now. So, just to clarify. But I know what you mean. I just wanted to clarify for the audience. They are adults with money. They all have jobs, and they're starting to get careers at that point. Some of them are coming to quite a bit of money, lots of money to spend. You know, that's when they're starting to get into new hobbies, because they're just getting out of college or out of the army or out of whatever.
When you look at
period,
something,
you know.
I don't want to spend too much time talking about this, but when you look at something like Ghostbusters and how much hate there is for it, you have to wonder how much of that has to do with people just being done with anything related to the 80s.
I worry then
moving
about
on
the
to
Mask.
90s now.
I worry about Mask and Rom Space Knight then coming out in 2019 or whatever, because that's an 80s. Those are both 80s properties.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I think Rom's older than that. I think Rom's like the late 70s. But
I would bet that the hatred for Ghostbusters is less than 1% to do with the fact that it's the 80s. I really...
Yep, has everything to do with the women, because they're dumb assholes.
I don't think it's that either. I think I'm not saying
portion of the vocal ones, I should say.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that there aren't people that hate it because of that. Like this scapegoating because what you've put out is kind of putrid, is like, that's not cool. Like
I do not share that opinion about. I think the trailer looks hilarious, and I'm looking forward to it. So just
really,
put that out there. Yeah, I'm actually very excited for it. So
very well.
I'm just not a jaded asshole. So I'm just saying. I love you lots. I'm just saying, man.
I'm not jaded. I think a company that sets the record for most dislikes on a trailer.
Who cares? I can get a bot. I can get 30,000 robotic computers to give me 30,000 downvotes. Who gives a shit? It's super easy to fake downvotes. Doesn't actually mean anyone gives a shit.
Well, it does. It does. If you went out of your way to bot 30,000 dislikes, it means it bothers you that much that you're going to take that much time out of your day to...
You think it takes that much, but here, I'll show you exactly how much it takes. Okay, let me go to Black Hat World, okay? Let me get my credit card. 5 minutes later, oh, I got 30,000 downvotes. It took me 5 minutes of effort. 5 minutes of effort. That does not mean... It doesn't mean I cared enough. You know what I mean?
Okay, but you you skipped over a part there. You had to take out your credit card, right? You had to pay for those downvotes.
Yeah. Oh, you can do it with PayPal. You can do it with Bitcoin. There's lots of ways to earn lots of free money.
Somebody to display their anger would spend money to show that they
have lots of throwaway money in their PayPal. That's what I mean.
But I'd rather spend my money on food. I'd rather spend my money on...
I think you both have a point here.
But you're not also... You're also not 18, disposable income, living at home with no bills. Do you see what I mean? You're not... You live on your own. You have bills and responsibilities. So your money's not disposable. Your money's spoken for. People with disposable income use their rage to dictate where they spend their money from, not people who are strapped for cash. Poor people don't care enough to spend money on this shit.
Okay, so divorcing from the whole downvote thing, it's quite clear. You're in the minority of
I,
people who speak up on the internet.
sure.
Uh, yeah, from what's being said about what we've seen so far, uh, it's not very anticipated, to say the very least, and Sony almost seems to be doubling down on it, as
Good.
if to say, you know, fuck you, we don't care.
No,
My
it
issue,
means that they believe in their product, or at least it should show that they believe in their product. That they say, no, you're just misunderstanding. We truly believe that this is a good movie. Let's double down on it. And I might remind you that I live with some people who are average movie watchers, and they are all over that movie, all over it based on the trailers. I don't want to speak too loud because, drama. Anyway, so I'm just saying, like, I think our perception is skewed because we're on the internet and we see the internet. They don't. They just see the TV. They don't give a shit what Twitter says. They don't give a shit what
But
they care. Did the
no,
NBC tell them that the movie looks
no,
interesting?
no,
NBC told them
no.
that
See,
that looks
you
interesting.
you're taking this positivity. I would agree with you if Paul Feig didn't come out and call fans assholes. To come out and be negative like that and to troll is A, saying that it's enough to get to them to make mention of it.
Here's a human being,
B,
God forbid.
yeah, but if their thing was, you know what, we believe in it, then the thing would be, you know what, it's not a big deal. If he believed in it, he wouldn't even address it.
Except just because, but he's still human, dude. He
Did
can still
did
think.
Adam Sandler come out and say, you know what, Pixar
CP,
is a great movie? You guys are
you
assholes.
come to me, you make great videos. You come to me, you don't. Come on, dude. Like, you can't tell me you don't doubt yourself. You can't tell me you haven't put a tweet out there where you're sounding distressed about something you've done. That's great. That other people think is great. All right. Just because you're an artist, you're human. You should be able to understand that he's a human too. An artist who created something people are criticizing. Of course he's going to respond. He's upset. People don't like the thing that he made. Regardless if he believes it's good or not, it still
Right.
upsets him.
Okay. On top of the, like, see,
Sorry, I don't
there's
think you
thing,
sound aggressive.
there's thing. No, listen, I enjoy shit like this. This is fine. Uh, on top of that, he like the thing that they jump to when something doesn't seem to be going their way, they jump to the sexism. Oh, so you're being sexist. You're being sexist. Like, I could kind of buy into that, except there's a trailer where Melissa. First of all, there's borderline racism and there's borderline fat shaming in some of the trailers that we've seen, and I would say, you know what, you have a point. You really may be onto something if it were this clean, wholesome thing that, just tried to be a straightforward movie, but some of the elements of humor that are being used are
So
downright offensive to different types of people.
now,
I mean,
you say that joke is both borderline racist and fat shaming, but what if instead it's just commentary on that crowd, and you're taking it out of context? You've seen this much of it. I mean, like,
I'm speaking of two different parts. There's
okay,
a scene where
the
Melissa
crowd surfing
McCarthy.
scene. I'm thinking,
No,
but
yeah, well, that's a separate thing altogether. Melissa McCarthy, she has a cup of wonton, and there's only
okay,
one, and she I forgot what the line was, but it was just, oh, you have the heavyset girl talking about, the lack of food that she was given, and the racism thing is you have this caricature
hmm
in Leslie Jones that is just, ugh.
but she's choosing to play it, so I don't think it's racist if it's a person of color choosing to do that. I don't think that you get to call it racist. I think it's up
No,
to.
I said
Uh,
borderline racist.
well, I don't think it's even borderline racist. I don't think so. It's.
honestly, I feel
If I
like
choose to play a poor white person and I'm a stereotype, that I don't know. I think I'm making that choice. I don't know. It's hard to say, man. In comedy, and you as a comic should know that comedy, man. Like, it's hard to say like what you can and can't say as a comic. Without
Right.
getting into censorship, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's a.
I
It's.
feel
Right.
I'm
like
not saying you're
the
wrong. I'm just saying it's a dicey subject altogether. But
I just feel like the comedy that's in the trailers that we've seen so far is reminiscent, to me at least, of things like Central Intelligence 2 or Let's Be Cops or any other comedy that's come out in the past few years, you know what I mean? So when people say, well, that seems racist or that seems like it's fat shaming or that seems like it's this or that seems like it's that, I'm just thinking to myself, like, but that's the kind of comedy that we've seen in every comedy movie in the past few years, and
Yep.
nobody had a problem with it then. Why is it a problem with Ghostbusters?
Exactly.
That's what's confusing me as somebody who wants to see the movie.
I'd like to point out that
I just
Jake's
don't understand.
comments, while taken out of context in this discussion, I'd like to point were directed at the people making death threats, by the way, not trolls, death threats. He has a problem with people making death threats, and you know, he spoke out against that. It wasn't about trolls; it was about death threats and the trolling. But mostly, it's that these people are so caught up in this fandom that they decide to I'm gonna kill you and everyone you care about. How about get emotionally adjusted, you dumb piece of shit? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Right, but
Yeah.
then he was on Graham Norton's show last week saying, I'm here to ruin people's childhoods. It's like, dude, just stop. Just stop.
See, I support that comment. You want to know why?
No. So that's fine. He was being humorous, right? He was being humorous.
Yeah.
Listen,
right.
With humor, all bets are off. You can't say this is a joke. Whoa, this is offensive. No.
Exactly.
It's either all humor or you got to fucking start going this.
Sometimes it's both.
This.
It can be offensive and still be funny, and that's okay.
Oh no, I agree 1,000,000%. Listen, there's people that there's people that think that somebody dying is funny.
What's disgusting to me is these fucking assholes retweeting this stupid fucking image right now today. Here's a tombstone, good Ghostbusters music, died today because Fall Out Boy released a fucking music video. Get over your fucking self. I hope your childhood's ruined. Good. Fuck you, you pathetic.
Well, I love that.
If you're so emotionally weak that Ghostbusters being all female hurts you, then good. Be frail, you pathetic piece of shit. I hope every day of your life is miserable. I hope the worst things happen to you because you're just the worst kind of people. The worst.
This is why we bring him on, by the way. This is why we invite.
You don't even get. I'm calm now because I'm high as fuck. If this were 5 years ago, there'd be death threats on those assholes for wishing death threats on assholes. We'll put it that way. So I'm way more mellow than I used to be. If you think this is fucking intense.
Well, I love people who say, "Lo, you're ruining my childhood," and it's like, actually,
so.
Nobody's ruining your childhood. You can go watch your childhood on Blu-ray.
I hope your childhood was touched by a priest.
Still there.
I hope your child gets touched by a priest in a basement and no one hears it crying. I hope that's what happened to your childhood.
You're taking something that I love
the
and you're
metaphorical
changing
example of your childhood, not the real life of your child. I hope your metaphorical childhood gets touched by a priest. All right, I'm gonna just clarify the statements.
I can understand. I can understand this level of anger if they had literally taken the original Ghostbusters movie, like the original prints of it, and altered it in such a way that it, would never be anything other than what they did, right? Yeah, if they had Lucasified it, yeah. I can understand that level of anger, but
I'd be on the board. I'd be holding the flag with you. I'd be on the boat.
They're making a new movie in the franchise, and you don't necessarily have to like it, but that doesn't mean they're ruining your childhood. It just means they're doing something that you don't like with the franchise.
Yeah, so let's be adults, just a little bit more, tiny bit more grown up. I'm not saying let's not lose our childhood. Let's just think about what we say before we say it, and think, how would we feel if someone said that to someone we deeply care about? And then think about just everything you say to someone. Think for a second, if someone said that to someone I deeply care about, how would I feel? And yes, if you just said to and if you just told someone I deeply care about, like say Stoudman here, I hope your metaphorical childhood gets raped, I'd still probably laugh because it's a pretty fucking funny statement. I'm just saying.
I agree with you. The death threats and all that weird shit is just there's no place for it in the end. It's first of all, it's just a fucking movie.
Exactly.
My
It's
my
a just it's art,
problem
man. Like, come
my
on.
problem is when somebody calls out Paul Feig, Sony, whatever, for making a shitty trailer. Listen, nobody's seen the movie yet. The
Hmm.
shitty trailer,
That's right.
and he comes out and says, "Ugh, you're being sexist." No, your fucking jokes are old shit. And
They
you own the fact that the crowd surfing where everybody parts thing is tired, is
timeless.
old.
Timeless. That one specifically. I
No,
agree with that. I like
no.
here. Now here's the thing. Continue your statement. I've got a thing. Go ahead. And I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go.
No, it's just at least the first one is just filled with fucking
Mhm.
I don't like it's like what Stout said. It's all like like get hard. Insert modern comedy here, and
Okay.
and where people are getting offended is something like Ghostbusters was this next level type humor, and
Uh,
it's not that.
I'm,
It's just you know regurgitated something with a Ghostbusters label on it. That's all it is. It does so far what we've seen is not next level humor. It's just Melissa McCarthy,
it's the
the
same
July
jokes.
2016 version. Yeah.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. I, I'm gonna say that the vast majority of film watchers have an IQ below 100. They have they spend now. I'm gonna offend somebody here. They spend all day taking dick from the person above them. Just dick, 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 dick. And all they want to do is go to the theater and laugh. You know what makes them laugh? That fucking joke they've heard told in a different way. Because it's something comfortable, it's something safe. Okay? Those are the people that those jokes, the ones from that first trailer, are appealing to. Those are the people who are on board on that movie. Are a lot of those people who are just like, they're the average movie watcher. That's why I think the movie's going to do pretty well, considering. Even with all the
The
internet hate.
power of Patty compels you. Ugh.
Right. Now, look,
Ugh.
I'm not, if you laugh at the joke, it's funny, that's fine. That doesn't mean you're stupid. I'm saying that stupid people will laugh at all of the jokes no matter how many times the trailer plays, okay?
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying that it doesn't fucking matter to the average person. The average person is going to go see that movie because it's comfortable, it's safe, it's going to make them laugh. They can escape all the dick they've been eating all fucking week at work. You know what I mean? That's the
Yeah.
reality. Regardless of what we think of it, whether we're right or wrong, the reality is IQ 88 is going to love this fucking movie. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. They deserve entertainment too.
IQ 88. That needs to be a new term.
I think that needs to be a shirt.
Yes.
IQ 88 needs entertainment too. Yeah. I wish I still had an artist.
That's the motto of Hollywood right there. IQ 88 needs entertainment too.
A lot of the big blockbusters are like that. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, that's why Pacific Rim didn't play as well. It wasn't geared to IQ 88. It was geared to a global audience, and it was geared to the fandom that liked it, and it was hoping that everyone else was on board with the marketing. And for the most part, they were, but not enough to get an immediate sequel, right? That's the same concept. We see that time and time again. Crimson Peak, everyone's like, oh, it's not what I thought it was. I'm sorry, IQ 88. Sit the fuck down. It's fine. I'm not saying your opinion's wrong. Just sit down and calm down. That's all I'm saying. And I mean that no offense. If you actually have an IQ 88, I actually don't mean offense. It's just something that sounds cool, all right? It's okay.
Oh, I still don't think Ghostbusters is going to do very well, but I do think it'll do. I think it'll make a decent amount of money, just not as much as they were hoping, and probably not enough to,
It's projected to make $50 million, and I think that's a good number.
I think that's a little high. I don't think it's going to make that much. At
They
least
always
not
project high, so they always project high. Do that.
Yeah, we'll see. But like my main thing is like there's too much competition around it. Like that's like regardless of whether or not people actually do hate it as much as it seems like they do, based on the trailers and their reactions. regardless of that, what we see going up against it, I mean, the week before you've got The Secret Life of Pets. The week before
Big
that, you've
Furry
got
Monster.
EFT and Purge 3.
Sorry, yeah, like,
I mean,
dude, yeah, you're right. It's gonna get crushed because of all this competition.
there's way too much competition right now.
I wanted it to do 100 million, and we even had a friendly wager to do it and I had guessed me to do 100 million, but I know I'm going to lose that wager. But how much, I don't know. I'm hoping it does 80 million. I'm just hoping it just blows estimates out the water, and then I'll be like, yes, I still win. Ha ha ha.
Well, all right. So answer me this: there was that small period where there was this movement where people were asking people to pre-order tickets for Ghostbusters to support women in movies. How do you feel about that?
That's not necessarily now. That is putting your heart in the right place, and that's not necessarily a bad idea because women did work on this film. Plenty of women. There are grips and electricians. There are art directors and makeup artists. A lot of women worked on this film, and so buying tickets, you are in fact supporting women. But that's not really a rallying cause in this case for the film. It's not exactly. It's not like it was directed by women and produced. It's not like it was primarily women. It was a mix of people, right? Like I imagine. Yeah, I don't know. It just. I think it's
you don't
silly.
see something like that for one of Catherine Bigelow's movies. Like what?
You should,
Yeah,
or Lexi
exactly
Alexander's films. You know. Shit, can someone please give Lexi Alexander another movie because she's an amazing director for like action? Someone give her a movie.
There was none of that talk when Sisters was out competing with Star Wars.
Exactly.
Penned by a female, starring two lead females.
Exactly. That's the hypocrisy. That's not the hypocrisy. It's the blind. It's not even blindness. It's just ignorance. It's just ignorance. Like their heart's in the right place. It's not like, yeah, that's great. Keep up the good work. I'm not gonna like tear that person down though. I'm just like, yeah, you go over there and keep doing your thing. Whatever.
Have fun
silly.
with that.
Have fun. It's silly. I get what you're doing. Just do it quieter.
There's just this spectrum where the two far sides are just the two extremes are just like really, really, really nuts.
Yeah. Oh,
And
absolutely. Absolutely.
My thing has just been, can we get good movies in the theaters, please?
What if Ghostbusters is good? Maybe those are just the bad jokes, but they're all great
Well,
jokes in it.
but the thing is, all right, even you have to admit, just based on the trailer alone, that's not like an excellent movie. But then, was any Ghostbusters movie ever going to be like a fucking award winner? No.
Ghostbusters gets an 8 out of 10 out of nostalgia. If I were to be really harsh, it'd probably be 7 out of 10. It's a great movie.
I think that what I want to ask, what I'm curious about is, where is this generation's Ghostbuster? And I'm not saying, where is our next Ghostbusters movie? I'm saying, where is our next movie that takes a leap the same way that Ghostbusters or Back to the Future did, or something like that?
All of that. Where's this generation's Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Where's this generation's Breakfast Club? It's just this big void where they're just like, just remake it. But no.
I would say Super 8 is like this year's generation's like Goonies. I mean, like, yeah. I think here's the thing. We should determine. I think that generation needs to speak up and tell us what their version of the Breakfast Club is. What movie constitutes their Breakfast Club? Because it's not up to us. No matter, we can discuss it all we want, but it's up to them to decide. Hey, we want a movie that's like Breakfast Club, and then they're going to probably make it, not the studios. You know what I mean? That's the reality.
Well, part of what's happening is it's. First of all, they're being force-fed. They're being force-fed remakes, sequels, superhero shit, and children's movies.
Endlessly. And it's not ending anytime soon.
And secondly, they don't fucking care about America. It's going more and more about worldwide, apparently China specifically. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with them funding a bunch of stuff.
Because there's 1 billion people there, that's why. Literally.
Well, Alibaba all of a sudden producing movies is quite intriguing.
Alibaba is a huge company though. Like they've blown up in the last few years. I mean, AliExpress is now their public front end for the public. I went on there just recently and bought a Transformer. Yes, it's a knockoff, but I wanted to check it out before I spent $80 on the expensive version. Because it's exactly the same thing, but for $20, you know. But it's not as well made. But there's good stuff on AliExpress. Alibaba's for bulk purchasing for, like, say if I owned a store.
Yeah.
You know.
If Honda made a movie, would you be excited about it?
They already make movies, though. They already make movies. What do you think? I mean, GM makes fucking Transformers. Why do you think every fucking car is a GM car, dude? I'm saying they already do that. It's no different. These corporations are also multi-continental, multicultural, in fact. And so, I mean, it makes sense.
GM is giving cars to Transformers to make. They're not saying, hey, here's $15 million.
But if it's $15 million in cars, that would be the money they would spend on cars and their choice instead their GM cars because GM gave them the cars. It's still $15 million in cars, man. So
what you're saying now is that Pepsi made Wayne's World?
Well, no, but they certainly had a hand in funding it.
No,
but here's the thing.
No, come on.
The difference is the landscape of, say, when product placement was being made fun of in, say, Wayne's World and also used in Wayne's World to where it is now, vastly different sums of money. We're talking like times 1,000%.
Right, but Coca-Cola doesn't make points off the back end if they put their product in a movie.
How do you know? You don't know that they don't.
Fine. So the Coca-Cola doesn't have a fucking title card in the beginning when they list off the producers.
I don't know. Maybe they don't because they don't. Maybe that's part of the contract. Maybe they get points and that's the payout, and they don't have to have the front. I mean, I'm saying, like, look, we don't know because we don't see the contracts. What I'm saying is I can't assume that they don't get points because I don't know. All right? I don't know how that works. Cause I know about this much about that aspect. I'm being absolutely honest. I know a little bit about it. You contact them. They offer you, here are licensing deal packages. We've got Coca-Cola. We have all these companies. This package, we can give you this much money in these products for your movie. And it's this much money in merchandise. It's this much money in cash for your movie. And that's essentially financing your movie. It's the same concept.
Can you acknowledge that there's a difference between Alibaba and Coca-Cola? The fact that Alibaba actually has a little video clip thing for a title card that shows up before the movie that says Alibaba Pictures Production.
They're just
whatever.
The first because they paid a lot of money probably. But
there's a difference.
I don't know if they're. I don't know if on the back end they're indifferent. On the front end, yes.
Have you seen a Coca-Cola Pictures?
Hold on, I'm getting to what you're saying. What you're saying is, up front, it's a huge difference. Behind the scenes, I don't know if it is different. Is what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm saying. Up front, it's huge because that means what if Coca-Cola does, say, fund Wayne's World 3 up front, and there's a big chunk, and there's a fucking Coca-Cola title card. Is that a problem to you?
I see what you're saying. I'm not saying what if. I'm saying Alibaba has produced films.
Yes, they have.
Coca-Cola has not had Coca-Cola
Alibaba has put a significant amount of money and got their title card at the beginning of a movie. Yes, that is correct. No other company has put that much money into a movie that we know of to date. It is historical, but is not necessarily significant, is what I'm saying, outside of it being the first publicly acknowledged statement.
It's just odd. The landscape is changing horribly.
Drastically. It's going to be a completely different beast in 5 years.
In 5 years, it's a completely different beast now.
Well, in 5 years, we're going to have a discussion and we're going to be like, what, we're going to go back to this and be like, what fucking happened? There's going to be completely different, man. I'm just like, it's going to be crazy.
I think the problem is that quality, I keep saying this, I say it over and over again. a movie like Inception just wouldn't get made today for like a ton of reasons. First of all, because it's original. Secondly, the budget. Third of all,
It's not licensed, yeah.
yeah.
Well, we're getting Doctor Strange, which is basically that kind of visuals, but with a licensed property, so it can still happen. It's just harder.
It's a comic book.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait.
Well, you have to look at. I think it could happen
You're not
again.
wrong,
I think a movie like Inception could happen again because it happened because of Batman movies, right? It happened because Christopher Nolan did all those Batman movies that were so wildly successful.
Yeah, it was like a present, right? Warner said, "Here, thank you for Dark Knight. Do what you want."
Yeah.
Here's a movie that you get to make. Yeah, the spec market's mostly dead. It's very rare that spec scripts get made now.
Yeah.
Unless they're already in the pipeline for years or something. I mean, like that's some other issue, but.
And that could happen again because you see young directors, I mean, I wouldn't say like Christopher Nolan, but not totally unlike him, who are getting involved in the movie industry, like Duncan Jones, for instance, right? Yeah. He's doing all these movies, like here, I'm doing all these movies, and they're becoming fairly successful. I mean,
you're right.
He did Source Code. Source Code is fairly decent movie that did all right. Warcraft is doing great in foreign markets. If he keeps doing movies that do well in various different markets, then he might be given that kind of a chance at some point. We don't know, but I hope so. And I'm hoping that, like, the thing that makes me hopeful is stuff like The Shallows, which is like, well, wouldn't see. I didn't expect to see a movie like that anytime soon.
So to clarify, the way that works is most of the time, that's an independent company financing a movie, and then it's distributed by a studio. So they're not even funding the spec scripts. The spec scripts are still getting funded independently, even if they're getting distribution by the bigs, like The Shallows. It was probably, I'm guessing here, because I don't know, I'm assuming a lot of the details aren't available yet, that it was produced by a production company that has a distribution deal with a studio, and that's how it got made. So there are original movies being made, quote unquote, within the studio system. It's just not at all the way it used to be, like Inception was. You're right. Inception was like one of those rare things where a studio put up all of the money, said, here's a movie, make it. And that doesn't happen anymore. You're right, and that's a shame.
I want to see it happen. I want to see them return to the way they did things during the New Hollywood movement.
Hopefully.
I just don't think that they're going to do that anytime soon because they can still make tons of money doing shit that people in the United States don't like.
And they can get by
but it makes money elsewhere, you know what I mean?
They can get by distributing for a while, too, just distribution of those movies.
You think about the landscape for the 80s. Back then, the biggest multiplex was what? Maybe six screens?
Mm-hmm.
Eight,
yeah,
if we're getting crazy.
If you're in a big, dude, a big. Dude, I remember the '90s when the Winnetka 16 opened. It was a big deal. It was a big deal in the '90s. All right. Now that's pretty common.
So the '80s, we'll call it 8. Back then, you had stuff like Back to the Future, Goonies, anything John Hughes made. What was that Russian high school kids fighting?
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn.
It was Russian
Commando, Predator. You have a big. Well,
Total
big
Recall.
No, let me take that back. Yeah, Total Recall. Like, there's all these great movies from the 80s that are like really unique, fun ideas, and they were being made in a time where there wasn't many screens to really fuck around with. We're at a time now where we have 25 plexes.
We had more screens then.
What?
We had way more screens. We had 10 times the number of theaters in the 80s. They were just smaller mom and pops, 2 and 4 screens and 1 screen joints. It was the 90s, like that ushered with the home video boom in full swing. That gone. All that. That's when most of those turned to multiplexes. You can even look at the numbers. I mean, someone can back the numbers up for me. I don't. But I'm saying like that. Back in the 80s, there were more screens then than there are now. Just so we're putting that out there.
Are you sure?
Yep.
I don't know how to I mean,
There were less theaters. There are less theaters now with more screens. There are more theaters than with less screens. So there were multiple theaters.
oh, you mean there's more houses back then?
There were more houses then.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
And
I'll agree
technically there
with
were
that.
more screens, but now they're condensed into small, like 16 screen buildings instead of there's 8 2-screen buildings. You know what I mean? Like, or 10 2-screen buildings. Because before the home video really swung in, movies were in theaters all the time. So my movie that was released 3 years ago can still be seen in the theater. It's just moved down the fucking row of all these theaters. You know, like you look at New York, you just go down the street. You know.
My point is, if you have a 2-plex or a 4-plex, you're not going to be inclined to gamble on something like Green Room.
Right.
But when you have fucking 25 screens, for fuck's sake, and 8 of them have Civil War, for fuck's sake, man, take a risk with one of those screens. Like,
I agree.
It doesn't make sense that there's more in these giant plexes. They have no excuse to not be trying stuff, and it's less creative than, I don't know, ever. It's so saturated with secondhand shit.
Oh, you know what?
I don't think you're right about that, though, Brandon. Because, I mean, I'm looking at E.T. I feel like E.T. is probably a good example of a movie that opened into a lot of theaters. Widest release was 1,778 theaters.
Yes, that's right. But guess what?
And there were smaller theaters.
It also stayed in 1,000 theaters for 3 years because it rotated through theaters. It was a different unit. We're looking at it wrong. Now a movie's in there for 3 months, then goes home video. That wasn't the case then. Home video cost $80. Mm-hmm. So E.T. ran for 5 years, and it was in 700 theaters for most of that. I bet. I don't know that for exactly. So yeah, it opened in 1,700 theaters, but there were a lot more theaters, and a bunch of those theaters were running second run stuff when E.T. opened. And when E.T. wasn't first run, it went to the second run theaters, and then to the third run theaters, and then the fourth run, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. But there was a lot more theaters. Things stayed in theaters longer. There was more money and more opportunity to make money then too. In that sense, because of that. So those movies like Goonies, right? Maybe Goonies doesn't do great. I'm not saying he's wrong about now. I'm saying the 80s. We're talking about back then. Say Goonies. We'll just say, for example, pretend Goonies only opened in 300 theaters, right? But say those sold out. It would open in 800 more, and then it would stay in theaters for years. Very popular, because it was very popular to see. You know. So NATO
reports in 1988 there were 23,000 screens, including drive-ins. As of 2014, 39,000 screens.
Whoa. Okay, so there are more screens now.
Yeah,
and less buildings.
I would agree with you if we're talking about buildings, because it was 2-plexes, 3-plexes. Now it's
a different
fucking. No, I agree. Okay,
I stand corrected. You're then fine. There are more screens. There are less theaters, but more screens. Okay.
But right, it's true. Like,
and the point is, there are so many screens. Why aren't we seeing so many? Why aren't we seeing some of these movies? These lower,
a little more diversity.
Movies, yeah.
Right, less choice back then too.
We're not asking for a revolution. We're just talking a little bit at a time. Just come on, give it a chance. You know.
Yeah, just. Listen. If you have a 4-plex, I wouldn't expect you to go out and put something unproven and independent on people got to pay the bills. I get it, but if you've got 20 screens, give me 10% of your building with stuff that who knows might come in and enjoy it, or like I said earlier, have a day, have a special Thursday. On a screen where, all right, so maybe you show 4 less showings of Civil War that day. I mean,
that's like $10,000 out of the theater's pocket, though. I mean, that's feasibly.
It depends on the time of the release. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Feasibly, I should say. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, if it's a weekday and a non
It's a
in a
Wednesday.
school
No
year,
one's gonna see fucking. Who cares?
right?
I wonder though. I wonder how much of it is them worried that people will be overwhelmed with choices, thinking,
We're
"Well,
already
I don't."
overwhelmed with choices. I have
Yeah,
1,000 choices at my fingertips instead of the theater. I can go right now,
right.
including the
No, but
movie I can
I'm
see.
saying,
You know?
I'm saying if the normal person goes to the movie theater and they're like, they don't know what they want to watch,
IQ88.
or
Yeah.
maybe they missed what they came to see. They missed the time for it, and they don't want to wait the extra 30 or 40 minutes it's going to take to see the next one, which chances are isn't going to happen. But, if it does, they're going to look up and they're going to see a bunch of other movies up there. And the more movies you put up on that marquee, the more confusing it's going to be for them to make that choice.
I think the problem, you're assuming IQ88 will see something else instead of just going and renting something from Redbox that they would rather watch, or going home and just watching something on Netflix instead.
I'm not assuming anything. I think I think that might be what the theaters are doing, though.
Oh, okay.
My thing is, listen, if you're not gonna put them in a theater, let me go buy it. I'm down with this. What was it? What was the guy from Facebook trying to do?
I don't know.
Sean Parker was trying to set up this service where you.
Screen. You can pay to see the movie in your home while it's in theater. I do that for some movies, like The Green Room. It's nowhere near me. The Neon Demon right now. I pay you $40 hard cash. You stream to me right now in high def. Neon Demon. I want to see that badly.
Right.
I'd pay the money to go see it if I could. Like shit.
The problem is they need guys, make your money, capitalize on that, because there are people that say, oh yeah, I want to see Green Room, and then it doesn't come around them, and things happen, people live and they go around it, and 3 months pass, the movie didn't get released to Blu-ray yet, and then they just forget that the movie existed because there's no commercials for it, there's no nothing. And then you lost the sale right there because there was no way to remind.
5 years later, he remembers about it when he sees it on Netflix, and then of
Yeah,
course
for
it doesn't
$2
matter.
or
It doesn't matter as much. Yeah, it's devalued, and that's a shame. But physical media, that's a whole other thing. Speaking of $2 bins, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
I mean,
The
it's
big
sad
studios
that
are getting out soon, but the little companies I think are sticking around for at least 10 more years, I guess.
it's sad that we're talking about it like this. It's like I wouldn't have thought that I would be in the camp that would say, yes, give me these movies at home that I can watch them the day that they came out in theaters
I'd rather
at
see
home,
it in theater,
right? But yeah, because I think we'd all rather see it in theaters, but logistically, realistically, they're probably not going to do that, and we're
either
at a
or,
point
right?
now where exactly.
Yeah.
So
Either
it's sad, but I
give it to
agree.
me
I wanna have access. You know
Give
what
it
I
to me on
mean?
your screen or give it to me on mine,
right.
but give me access to it in some way or another, please.
It's insane. It's insane. Like, and I keep going back to it, but I don't understand what when these companies pitched these 20 screen buildings, what was their thought process? Was their dream thinking we were gonna have 10 prints of one movie?
No. You're not thinking like these people who made these. They don't like movies like us. They like money, and so they saw a way to capitalize on how to maximize their money with the least amount of effort. So that's exactly what they want. They wanted to pack you around the corner, 10 screenings an hour, and they just want to like fucking cattle. They just want to move the next group in, you watch it, move you out, move the next group. That's all they care about. They don't care about anything. They don't care about the art.
Well, I think another thing, they see money in,
capital. You're not a person.
making it more comfortable for people to go see the movies, right? So
they want you to come.
The more movie theaters that the more theaters, the more screens that the movie is on, the easier it is to go see it without being crowded into a theater packed with people, right? And I think that was something that a lot of people were probably complaining about. Sadly enough, that's something that a lot of people don't like. They don't want to be packed into a theater and scrunched up like cattle, waiting to see the big new movie necessarily. They want to have room to spread out a little bit.
That's what these recliner things are.
Yeah,
Well, look at
that's a
what
part
you know
of it.
why?
I think, though.
You wanna
I
know
think
why?
the other part of it
Draft
is.
House is leading that charge.
I
Draft
think,
House is revolutionizing the theater business.
but I think that like it all started with making or putting more screens in theaters, so that there wouldn't be like the same amount of people are going to see those movies, but now it's in more theaters and there are more screens that it's on, so you can spread out a little bit more instead of having them all packed into. I remember going to see Jurassic Park for the first time, and it was in a movie theater that had 3 screens, and because of that, it sold out frequently, and we had to wait a week before I could go see it, and even after waiting a week, we were still in a sold-out show, and I had an aisle seat, and, nobody wants the aisle seat. They want to be right in front of the fucking screen, right?
I want to be in the middle.
That's the thing. That's why every time you go to the theater nowadays, you see, like, maybe 50 people at most in every theater. And I think that's part of it. It's like they have all these seats there just in case it sells out, but they're specifically putting this movie in a bunch of different theaters so that people will be comfortable and more likely to come back to the theater because they're not going to feel like they're scrunched up, kind of thing. I think it has to do with comfort in some small way.
Well, I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, Alamo Drafthouse is revolutionizing it, putting comfy seats in. They're showing art house fare as well as big budget fare, and they give you, and it's an experience, man. It turns it back into a thing you want to make it go and make special moments out of again. Something we've been lacking.
It changes it though in a lot of. I don't know if they're good or bad, but a lot of interesting ways.
It's different.
Changes how going to the movie used to be. It's not the same anymore, right? It's never going to be the same either.
And it used to be like a thing that you went as a family, like it was like a thing, or it was a thing you did to escape the heat because you were poor and you paid a nickel and watched movies all day. So it was either a high class thing or a low class thing. At some point, it became a middle class thing. And now it's going to be a high class and a low class thing, I think. I think we're going back to the high class, low class, because the middle class is becoming either high class or low class. There's not really a middle class anymore, and I think that's one of the other things that's affecting the bottom line on these things. Our society is changing, so our art is affected thusly. Negatively or otherwise.
I think The Shallows is going to make a lot of money. Random statement.
I kind of hope it does, but it's in such a weird spot. Like the Matthew McConaughey movie. I look at that. I look at the current state of things, and I think, why on earth did you stick with this date for that?
Pretty State of Jones. Yeah.
That movie's going to get buried.
Oh, utterly.
Oh. Production budget on The Shallows was $17 million.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. That's what I'm saying here. Like, $17 million. It's opening in 2,800 theaters.
It's gonna make that money back.
It's gonna make that money back in the first weekend. And the thing is, here's the thing, right? All the teenagers, 16 to 24 age, at least the ones who can actually get into the fucking PG-13 showing of this, right? They're going to see this, and they're going to say, well, I can go see the Finding Dory movie. It's a kid's movie. Mm-hmm. Or I can go see The Shallows, which is Kill Dory kind of movie,
Wame Colette-Serra also did House of Wax, Orphan, Unknown, and Nonstop, all of which are at least watchable films, even if you don't like them in the end. He's a pretty good director. I like most of his movies, in fact, so. I have pretty good faith that this is going to be a well-made movie. I
think there's going to be an audience that's like, maybe not totally rejects Finding Dory, but a younger audience that, they went to see Finding Dory or they didn't want to see Finding Dory, so they're like, fuck this, I'm going to see The Shallows,
I hope so. Between that, Finding Dory, Central Intelligence, there's a bunch of movies. What's weird is, like, Me Before You is its own, like, that's the only kind of movie of that type So, like, that's another thing. Like, what's going on here? Remember movies that you'd like go on a date with, like, as a teenager? There's no like weird date.
No, I didn't go
movies.
on dates as a teenager. I was an awesome kid.
Mike and
No.
Dave need wedding dates. I guess that's the next one.
That's rated R though.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You know, like The Notebook, whatever. Insert cheesy. Oh, I'm not saying it's something I prefer to see. I'm just saying there's no like safe teenager date movie, and Me Before You.
That's because they're going to the horror movies.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my thought.
You have The Conjuring 2, and then obviously The Shallows will probably play into that too.
The Purge is coming up. There's the other one to go into, The Purge 3, election year.
And
That's
then
July 1st.
2 weeks after that, you've got Lights Out.
So, I think it used to be these romantic
The horror
comedies.
movie is replacing it.
I think the thing is that horror movies is the hot shit right now, so everyone wants to see them, including the kids who are going on dates. I think it's just an aspect of it. That's why we don't see as many romantic comedies.
They're cheap to make.
Absolutely. And they've always been geared to the teenage audience. Horror movies have always been that way. That's the birth of horror movies. So it's low class and young kids.
He brings up a point, though. You do bring up a point here, and that is like when I think about where the romantic comedy is today, kind of it's like feels like it's in about the same place as westerns are now. It's like.
Dude,
you really don't
so
see
weird.
many of them anymore.
I'm here on my knees praying to any of the gods that may or may not exist. Please make Magnificent 7 a success. I really want there to be a Western boom. Please, please, please. I need some fantastic Westerns in my life. Please.
It doesn't have much competition, I'll say that much.
I'm just, please, for fuck's sakes. Please.
Magnificent 7 opens up.
It's either August or September.
Snowden?
I think it's September.
Yeah, oh, yes. So that's two different audiences. So
Snowden opens up on the 16th. Magnificent 7 opens up on the 23rd. So, yeah.
Oh, A Cure for Wellness. Excuse me. Okay. I have it back.
Yeah,
I read it wrong. I read it wrong.
It opens up against Storks, which is a CGI animated movie.
So, but it,
Well, right. Let's go to that really quick. There used to be this thing,
okay.
and you kind of referenced it. There used to be this unwritten rule, this respect thing, where if one studio released a children's movie, a cartoon, a whatever, that you kind of steered clear of it for respect purposes at the very least. B, because you didn't want your audience,
Intersecting.
kind of cannibalizing each other. You're losing money to the other thing because there's two like-minded films. That's not a thing anymore. You have Finding Dory. There's a break this weekend, but then next weekend you have BFG, which is that Spielberg.
It's gonna be Spielberg's second lowest box office, I think.
What?
I don't think it's gonna do as good as some of Spielberg's other films.
I agree.
I think it's gonna be Amistad numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then
Which is a shame.
the following week is Secret Lives of Pets, and I think that's going to be very, very
I think,
do well.
I think Bridge of Spies did Amistad numbers too. I think Spielberg's kind of at a slump right now, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Spielberg doesn't know what he's doing, apparently.
He's doing whatever he wants to do.
I think
he's earned that,
I think he's just trying things out, I think he's earned the respect to get to try some shit out.
Oh, sure.
Doesn't work, but whatever.
Yeah, but there's, the BFG, July 1st, Secret Life of Pets, July 8th. There's probably going to be some hangover from Dory.
And those other kids' movies.
And then Ice Age on July 22nd.
That's going to bomb.
He thinks it's going to bomb.
Okay.
It's entering a flooded market. Look at the box office of all of those. I believe all of them have drastically declined from the last one, enough that This is the last one for sure, and I think it's going to do piss poor. I really think so. It's going to do gangbusters in rentals. It's going to do It's going to make It's going to make plenty of money. That's not going to be the problem. It's going to bomb, I think, because there's just too many kids movies.
I think you're crazy, sir, because that's not right, actually. If you look at yeah,
it's the opposite.
The last one was Dawn of the Dinosaurs, right? Dawn of the Dinosaurs made $886 million worldwide.
No, I'm talking about US.
Oh, U.S. it made $196 million off of a $90 million budget.
Okay, what about the one before that, though?
The one before that was...
I don't know what the fucking...
Wait, which one was it? Dawn of the Dinosaurs was the third one, right?
Dude, you're asking me? I don't fucking know. I remember...
Well, anyways, Continental Drift was on a $95 million budget, and it made $161 million U.S., $877 million worldwide.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, they released. That's Fox, and Fox released Home in March. I think Fox is confident in it to release it in July. I mean, I don't think it'll either push Dory or Secret Life of Pets.
I'm wrong about Ice Age. Hey, wait goes, man.
But it's
okay.
But
I just think it's crap.
On the weekend of the 22nd, you're gonna have Ice Age, Secret Lives of Pets, BFG, and probably still Finding Dory. You're gonna have 4 children's movies to choose from.
Yeah.
And I think Finding Dory is gonna eat a lot of Ice Age because I think that's when BFG is gonna make most of its money in the States is like that weekend. I think because everyone's gonna skip it.
I think The Secret Life of Pets is gonna eat more than Finding Dory would.
I think that's the winner of that week. I think it's gonna be Ice Age still. I really do. I think Ice Age is. I think it's still going to do well, right? It's going to make its money back. I just don't think it's going to have a good weekend that weekend. Just because it's so crowded. Ice Age. I think it's too crowded that weekend.
No, yeah.
I don't know. I can't now predict because I was totally off.
Well, Star Trek comes out that weekend too. Which technically could be a fucking a family movie.
Anton just died. It's gonna be a monster.
Oh, yeah.
That's $100 million weekend for Star Trek. Easy.
Any bets on how much money Sausage Party's gonna make?
A lot of fucking money, I bet. I bet it's gonna make a lot of fucking money.
I would love for. I just want to know how many parents mistakenly take their kids to see that.
Oh, I know, right?
I hope a lot of them.
Accidental refunds is what I want to know.
I hope a lot of them.
It's a CGI animated movie. Why is it rated R?
I thought it was Toy Story for food, and boy, it's not Toy Story for food. And then there's that movie in the middle of all that.
Jesus. Neon Demons getting 48%, and Independence Day Resurgence is getting 52%.
Of what?
Ratings from the reviewers right now.
Oh.
They're both getting savaged.
I would say that the ratings for Independence Day don't matter, but the ratings for Demon probably do.
They do. You're correct 100% about that. I would agree.
Sadly.
Way she goes, man. I don't make the rules. I just notice them. Yeah.
But no, I mean, you're right. If you look at even into August, right? You've got an animated movie and Pete's Dragon on the 12th, and then you've got the next week you've got Kubo and the Two Strings, whatever the hell that is. It's another animated film.
That is probably not going to make a lot of money, but that's going to get a lot of buzz, I hear. So.
And those two movies are going to be in theaters probably at the same time as Secret Life of Pets is still in theaters, and Ice Age is still in theaters, and it's like that's apparently the new magic number. It's okay to have 4 different animated films in theaters at once.
It's brutal,
4 is the magic number. They're just like, this is the kind of movie that makes tons of money, so we're just going to make as many of these movies as we can.
Yeah, that's how Hollywood works. It's how all movies work. Since the
You
dawn
see
of
the
movies.
same thing with horror movies too, don't you?
Well,
Right?
look at from the dawn of movies. When something's popular, a lot of that thing gets made. Horror
Mhm.
movies, westerns, comedies, etc. Sci-fi films. They go in cycles because they get popular. And that's why I'm hoping Maximus 7 brings about a cycle of westerns, because we could use a glut of them, please.
That seems to happen like every year or two, though. They thought that was going to happen with 310 to Yuma.
It did a little bit. There was a boom in the indie market for westerns, 310 to Yuma, so we'll at least get that. But I want there to be a Hollywood boom, you know.
That's kind of been consistent, though. Like Django Unchained, they kind of thought maybe.
It's hard to say that with Quentin Tarantino films because they're so different from the rest of any genre. They are their own genre almost.
Right. Well, Tarantino movies, they kind of. Well, I mean, I keep hearing this Bone Tomahawk is really good too, and apparently that's
a western, it's a horror western, with Kurt Russell. I've been meaning to see. I think tonight's on Prime. Me and Justin used to watch movies more frequently, but we've been busy doing our own shit lately, so way behind on movies. Ow.
I don't know. How many westerns can they remake, I guess, is the question I'll ask you to counter that, because Hollywood's not interested in fresh shit, evidently.
There's at least 50 good westerns that could get remade.
Yeah.
They've remade a lot of westerns lately, though. Or at least in the past 10, 15 years, I should say.
Right, and so...
310 to Yuma, True Grit.
Yep.
You're
right. There's nothing wrong with that, and I agree. And I'm just saying, like, there's a lot more they could do. Pale Rider would be a notable... And the horror is hot? Good. Remake Pale Rider. It's a horror western with supernatural themes. A guy dies and comes back from the dead, okay? For vengeance. It is the perfect movie. It's cheap. You can get a good actor who can chew up the scenery. Get the guy who directed John Wick. Have that guy direct it. Like, seriously.
They're remaking Magnificent Seven and Ben-Hur in the same summer.
Oh, God, I want more Sword and Sandal films, too. Yeah, Ben-Hur's going to be huge, by the way.
Apparently, a lot of people want more Sword and Sandals movies because Warcraft, at least in China, is selling very well.
True.
So if Warcraft is doing well in China, then how well is Ben-Hur going to do in China? I hear that groan. I don't want it to happen.
That trailer is a Fast and Furious trailer. I want to see it because of that. Like, awesome exploitation.
Fast and the Furious, Ben-Hur.
Mm-hmm. To Ben, to her.
To Ben, to her.
I look at this summer, and for some reason, nothing really jumps out at me.
As being special? Or...
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of fired up for Suicide
Squad.
I don't see anything that's, wow, but I do see things that I kind of want to go see,
Yeah, well, I mean, like, The Shallows is something I'm like, oh, I want to see that, but I could certainly wait till it's home.
Apparently it's the best shark movie since Jaws.
Oh. Other than Sharknado, Deep Blue Sea.
Those aren't good movies, though.
All right, so exactly. So, like, what is a good shark?
People were saying that about those movies.
No, so it's saying it's the best movie since Jaws. It means it's better than those movies. That's what that means. It means it's better than those movies. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood.
Well, I'm probably going to see it tomorrow, so I'll let you know what I think.
I'd like to see it this weekend too.
What you could.
I don't know. Like, Suicide Squad. Yeah, okay.
That's a make money. And then Doctor Strange at the end of the year, which I can't wait for. Oh my god.
Well, that's not summer. Yeah, this Oscar season looks really good for this year. Mm-hmm. The October, November, December looks a lot better this year. But the summer is just a children's movie abortion of just like
It's pretty
I don't
dead.
know. It is. It's so strange that nobody decided to jump. Why? Oh, why? I'd love to call somebody at Warner and be like, so why didn't you just put Batman vs Superman out in July? What made you want to own March?
Who knows?
I mean, honestly, yeah, their opening weekend was great, but what happened?
Own March. Who
Like,
knows?
hey, kids are home now. You could have had some I don't know. There seems to be this alternate idea here where they're trying to really push that R-rated Blu-ray. So I certainly could have something.
Oh yeah, the new Scorsese film drops this year too. Starring Liam Neeson.
Oh yeah, Scorsese always certainly has an entertaining ride at the absolute very least.
I had never seen a bad movie of his. Like, I hadn't seen all his movies, but I mean, can you name one that's bad? Actually bad? Or just misunderstood?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Because
No.
he is a national treasure. If we were to like change the way our currency works and put actual contributing artists alive today that are worth money, he would be on the $100 bill. Him and Coppola, man. Coppola for The Godfather. And George Lucas would be on the dollar.
Well,
So we could all
Coppola, I could probably name a couple of.
It's Godfather, man. It's the American quintessential classic.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, the Godfather, Godfather 2, but after that it gets a little
Apocalypse Now.
icky. All right, after that it gets a little icky.
Yeah. After that, each movie's hit and miss, depending on your choice. I don't like Dracula, but
After that, he did a lot more, putting money into things, executive producing.
yeah, mostly as a producer.
He was the executive producer behind Jeepers Creepers.
Damn it. Anyway. Yeah, but who? I want to know who fucking okayed Powder. Like, really? Really? I saw that shit in theater. Really? Powder? You thought that was an okay movie?
Hey, I would
Disney Touchdown. I mean, what?
I would rip out my own testicle hair to have a movie like Powder right now. I mean, really?
The movie's terrible. And also, the magical retard movie would not play in modern times.
I think the
That's what they
founder.
are. I'm just saying, that's how they treat it. Those are magical. That's how they treat the subject. Okay. I'm just saying.
I think the founder has potential to be a movie that everybody talks about. It has potential to be one of those movies, I'm not too excited to see it, but
I want to see 31.
I think it might be one of those movies.
31 in October. That's gonna be awesome.
Nathan, I don't know what your incredible allegiance to that Batman vs Superman is. You're talking about Suicide Squad coming out a couple weeks later. Civil War and X-Men came out like within weeks of each other. It's just a better time for those types of movies. July, June, at least. I mean, you look at what it did. I can only imagine it doing exactly the same, if not better.
I think they should have waited until August to release it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, either or, any insert period where kids are home here. Like that's where I think they said, "Oh, Civil War's coming out in May. Let's push it up," and they should have probably went back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let them have May. Good, take May. You can give them.
But I guess they might have been
Well,
concerned. Maybe they'll send the message that they don't have faith in it. Then
If they push it back, they don't have faith. If they push it too far forward, they don't have faith. That's the problem. You read wrong, even if that's not their intention.
I think Deadpool is like a monkey wrench beyond all monkey wrenches. I don't think anybody saw it doing
yes,
what it
it
was
should
doing.
be.
Yeah.
That's because
really,
everyone was stupid and didn't realize how awesome Deadpool was for a fucking decade. This could have been 10 years ago, guys.
Yeah. Warner and Warner. I don't know what you're talking about. Disney and Fox. Oh shit! I know what you're talking about.
Probably me talking about Powder and who fucking financed this shit.
No. I think he's Disney and Fox, Civil War and Deadpool. Right. Deadpool and X-Men are both Fox. Warner and Warner. Suicide. All right. So Suicide Squad and Batman. Warner releases a bunch of movies piggybacked. That doesn't mean anything. Like I said, I'm not saying to release it the week before Suicide Squad. I'm saying, July 4th weekend, go put it up against BFG, put it up against Ghostbusters. Shit.
Put it up against Independence Day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have been great against Ghostbusters.
There's summer's weak. I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry.
I said I think it would have been great against Ghostbusters.
We're gonna crush Ghostbusters.
Right. A studio has never released a comp. Yeah, no, I didn't say that. I wasn't implying that neither. I think you look at this summer. I'm not really. If I'm a comic book property, I'm not afraid of anything.
Yeah, you're bulletproof for the most part.
Right.
And Deadpool
especially Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm afraid of is a Marvel property. That's the only and apparently they were because they pushed up to avoid Civil War, but I don't know. I would put it close to I wouldn't be afraid of Doctor Strange with Batman vs Superman.
Oh no, I would have gone right up against that because that's a much lesser known character. But
right.
It is part of the Marvel universe, so it's already got that built-in fan base too. That's really hard. Because here's the thing: nobody knows. I guarantee you right now, come December or whenever that movie comes out, you're gonna see a slew of these people. I'm a huge Doctor Strange fan. I've been for years. Where were you 10 years ago when we didn't even have a fucking series because no one was buying this title? Where were you? You weren't here. I mean,
there was that small period where people were trying to get Deadpool PG-13. It was just do you even know what you're talking about?
No. It was some mom wanting to take her kid to it. That's all it was. How about shut up? I bet she took her kid to that radar movie anyway.
$778 million.
Yeah, WWE man, this is a movie talk. Sorry, Skinslip, something about the WWE. Go quick.
I wish they'd stop making shitty movies. No, at least the newest movie Countdown. At least it's a cool concept. It's Die Hard set in a WWE wrestling event.
The best movie the WWE ever did
unfortunately,
was a movie that featured their fucking mirror.
Yeah,
what does that tell you?
Oculus. Oculus was great. Everyone shouted on it, but it's actually a really great horror film. And
way better than anything else I've ever done.
Yeah, it had the best
more
WWE
charisma
actor.
And everything.
It had the best WWE actor other than The Rock, and it was played by a mirror. It was like a mirror from WrestleMania. That's what that mirror was in Oculus. Anyway, and then the sequel, the Oculus doesn't get a sequel, but Ouija does, and it's directed by the guy who did Oculus. Just make Oculus 2 instead, man. It's a way better franchise.
There it is, WWE, man. We talked about WWE. Sorry. It'll come around. It's movie time right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We talked about the WWE related to movies. There you go.
Now, would I love to do a weekly show on wrestling? Yes. I just haven't found someone I would like to sit down and talk to about wrestling every week,
Yeah.
I'm trying to find someone who works well with the way I look at wrestling, because I look at wrestling like it's an art. I don't care about the storylines. For me, the story happens between the first bell and that second bell. Anything else before or after doesn't matter. If the story between the beginning of the match and the end of the match isn't well told, who gives a shit? That's the part that matters. So that's what I watch when I watch wrestling. I watch matches. I don't watch storylines. I'm a very different wrestling watcher. So it's hard to find a co-host for that show. Anyway,
there's not much speculation on in-ring shit. They all speculate over fucking shitty storylines and shit.
Which I do follow, but they just don't interest me nearly much. And when a good storyline happens, I get sucked into it, like anyone else.
Somebody in the chat says, "How about talking about the movie The Wrestler?"
It's amazing, and I want to see it. And I wish I owned it.
It's
the only movie I have considered buying the kimchi DVD fancy schmancy edition, because it's a movie I don't own, and it's a movie I think deserves a good edition. So, just haven't gotten around to it.
That's a good movie. It is a really good movie. Ending theory? Do you die?
It doesn't matter. It's up to you. Movies are personal.
I'm asking you.
Oh, me? Oh, he totally dies in my interpretation. But then again, I'm a depressive person, so as a depressive person, I gravitate to down endings. So.
Stout?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Died?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's no wrong answer. That's the best thing about that.
I know.
What about you? You think he died or he survived?
I mean, yeah,
No. What is
I
your
guess he
opinion
died.
of it? I mean, you don't. No.
No,
That's not.
I'm not like that. I don't.
So your opinion is based on other people's opinion? I'm so confused.
No. My opinion is it's an incomplete story.
And so you don't like it?
No, I think it's
I'm
fine.
confused.
I just feel like it's he jumps off the rope and that's all we have from the story.
Yeah, of course.
I
And
mean,
it's up to
the theories are infinite.
Well, yeah, and the film's designed so that you come up with your own thoughts on it. That's.
Yeah, I just if I told you a story and left the last couple of pages blank, I mean, I get it. I'm not saying anything. It's just
Well, the best thing about art, it doesn't have to fulfill you. It just has to fulfill the artist, right?
What?
Right. So the artist should have an ending in mind.
Art doesn't have to fulfill the viewer. It has to make the artist feel fulfilled for making it, right? If you enjoy it or not is irrelevant to the artist. Whether he wants to leave the ending off, it doesn't matter to him if you don't like that, right? That's I'm not discounting your theory. I was just kind of making a statement. Just babbling.
No. Well,
about art in general. Art doesn't have to make you happy. Art can make you ask questions, and doesn't have to give you any of the answers. That's.
My question.
But what's that?
My question to the filmmaker is this movie complete? And when they say yes or no, and if they say yes, I say, okay, what's the ending?
The ending
and then they say your interpretation. No, that's not. What was your intention when you made the movie?
That doesn't matter what his intention was.
No, he's the guy who created it.
No. The thing is artistic intention means jack shit. What matters is what you get from the movie. Justin, hit him with the theory. Go. You're way more articulate about this shit than I am.
Oh, the intentional fallacy?
Yes.
Okay.
Go.
Well, it's something that applies mostly to
film.
Not the film. No. to writing novels and shit like that. It applies to.
It applies to art. I don't care what anyone says. It applies to art. Period.
Literature. That's where you're going to find the theory most frequently mentioned is in literature that authorial intent, depending on who you ask, either is important or is not important. But the running theory right now is that it's not important. The idea being that anybody can come up with their own interpretation. Millions of people can come up with millions of different interpretations that if there's context for it in the art, then there's reason to believe that that interpretation of it could possibly be correct.
It's
so
more
ultimately,
wrong than any other one,
yeah.
basically.
So ultimately, it's like, yeah, what the author might have intended might not be what that person thought the movie meant in this case, but what they thought it meant, if they have context for what they thought it meant from within the film, then it's no less valid of an opinion about what it meant than what the author actually potentially intended with it. You know what I mean?
Sure. I agree.
I want to say before the movie is complete, by the way, because the important part is he makes a decision to jump. It doesn't matter what the result of his jump is. His story leads to that decision, to make that decision, and we see that he makes that decision. What happens as a result of that decision is not the purview of this film. That's why it ends after he jumps. The point of the movie is, will he jump or will he not jump? And we get to that point, and he jumps. That's why you don't see the ending, because it's not important. The important part is he jumped. That's the important part, and that's what he's trying to emphasize.
The first act and second act were leading to whether or not he was going to jump.
Well, it's not just that, but I'm saying is that is the final decision the final decision that can be made in the movie is he going to jump and risk his life, or is he going to get down and not risk his life, right? Like, that's the thing. And he chooses to jump. Regardless if that kills him or does not, the point of the movie is he jumped. He made all those things that happened in his life led to him making these decisions. And this decision is he jumped. And whether he dies or not is irrelevant. That's what I take from it. Whether that's wrong or right, I'm just saying, That's how I see it.
It's kind of a MacGuffin, isn't it? I mean...
Yeah.
Whether he's going to jump or not, or what happens when he jumps is the MacGuffin. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not the important part. It's that he jumps is the important part.
But right, I would just like to know. As a storyteller, I'd like to know. If I were reading you a story and I said, all right, so he gets up to the top rope and he jumps.
Okay, but I mean, do you feel the same way about Lost in Translation? Do you feel the same way about a lot of movies that do the same? Every movie that does the same thing? I mean,
Sopranos, I feel that times a million.
Like, I don't know. I don't feel a film owes me anything other than to just let me experience it. That's all it owes me, is that I get to experience it.
But listen, I don't disagree, and I don't disagree with anything.
I'm not trying to attack you either. Just be clear.
No, listen, again, like I said, I debate, I enjoy it quite a bit. Whether or not it appears as if I'm heated, listen, I love you to death. When this is over, we'll fucking get off and talk about... Cool. Yeah, dude, listen, I don't want it to be misconstrued as anything. I enjoy this.
I just wanted to clarify because I sometimes sound like I'm attacking.
Sure.
And I want to make sure I'm not actually attacking you or your ideas.
Ditto.
Okay. Just trying to be clear,
But my thing is, anybody who goes out and tells a story, whether it be on paper or film, they have to have this thing in their mind. And my thing, whether or not whatever they give us, is when you made it, what did you envision to happen to him? Because you know damn well that they have a like if you read a script, they tell you like what the character, like what he likes to do, what his favorite color is, that like all the shit that you never see in the movie. Like there's these descriptions on the script that like just fill out the character.
To give you an idea of what the character is, yeah.
Right. So my thing is, you have to have an idea of where you intended it to be, whether or not we interpret it one way or another. And my thing is just what was it? That's all.
You want to know what the original interpretation, or the original intention was?
I think the problem is you're getting hooked up on the idea that you need to find out whether he lived or not, and that's not what the story was intending to tell you. No, in this case specifically, I just think that like if you have a problem with that there's no ending, you're missing the fact that there is an ending. The ending was right there. You're expecting more from the ending that doesn't exist.
No.
That's what I'm gathering from this. I don't understand. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, obviously.
All right, so I interpret he jumps, and
that you need to see more of it. That's what you're saying, and I'm saying why. That's not important. What's important was what you've seen. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, but I understand why you think it's important whether he lives or dies or what happens after he jumps, because that's the end of the story. Is he jumped? Like, and I have plenty of books and stories end on endings like that. Lots of them through the history of time. Even a writer, even some of the best writers have ended stories like that. It's up to you. A lot of art does that. A lot of people have a problem with that with Prometheus, where like there's a lot of questions in Prometheus, and it didn't give you the answers. Oh, boo-hoo! I'm sorry. You want art to spell everything out for you? God,
Yeah, no, it's like the fact that he shows Ram looks over at the curtain right before he goes up, and Marissa Tomei's not there anymore, and like there's more to it there as far as I'm concerned. Like, she left, she showed up, she cared for him, so
But she couldn't watch him make that jump because she doesn't want to see him die, and he feels like she doesn't want to see him because she left, and so now he wants to jump. But that's all there. Yeah, he didn't have to tell you anything more. There's your story. Their relationship is done.
He could stop. He saw that she was there. Why would she show up?
But it doesn't matter. He didn't stop. You're seeing what was meant. That relationship between them, that's done. That was done before he got in that ring, man. Like, there was nowhere that was gonna go. She was leading was just the final nail. Him jumping was a result of that. Like, he knew it was over with. He had nothing left except the glory in that ring. So he took it. He jumped for the glory, right? It's in the movie. I'm not saying that you're wrong for wanting it. I was just trying to understand why you feel like you need to understand. Like, I'm not trying to.
The same way that your interpretation could be wrong as well. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's all up for interpretation. It's exactly the point. It's just.
I'm trying to go with what's actually presented in the film. I apologize.
Right, but and my thing is, all right. So I agree. You're probably right, but let's just hear what the storyteller has to say.
But he doesn't, because he told you all he wanted to tell you. That the storyteller told you. Now it's up to you to take it wherever you want to go with it. That's the beauty of it. He left it up to you. He gave it to you to do what you want with it.
And like I said, the same way he fills things up,
mm-hmm.
you know, that never make it on screen. I'm sure he has the ending in mind, or what happens after that jump.
Maybe. Have you read the script? Maybe it tells you there.
No.
Maybe not. Who knows? Right? Like,
and like I said, stuff like Sopranos, where that ended.
They could not explain.
No, sorry.
Aronofsky can be as dense as his films are, you know? Like, who knows? I don't know. I've never read any of the scripts. I'm just saying. Like,
yeah, no,
Tarantino's scripts can be quite dense and fun to read, but they can be quite dense, you know? I mean, it's just the way it goes.
Right.
Just some writers are more dense than others, yeah. I have no idea about Aronofsky specifically.
Yeah, it's you know, it's just, you know, like I said, if I were reading you a story, and I just stopped and say, well, whatever you want it to be, I'd be like, no, you're reading me a story. What?
If you read me a story, and you left all the information there for me to make my own decisions, I'm okay with that. That's the point. That's the point of that piece of art. Not every piece of art is going to spell it out, right? I'm not going to be bothered by it. That's what I'm saying. I like art that challenges.
I'm not bothered by it. It's just I'm pretty confident that the guy has what he thinks happened. I want to know what he thinks.
Oh,
the guy who took us on this journey. All right, what would you think happened there?
But now, does it matter what he thinks happened though? Does that mean it's the only official answer then to you? I'm curious.
No, he just wants to know what it is.
Oh no, I'm just asking. No, I'm sorry.
A little bit. I mean, a little bit, right? Because it's his choice to show us what he showed us, because it's the mind that presented exactly everything you saw and have built all these opinions on.
And all the clues are there to get to either conclusion, which is the great part, right?
Because without his opinion, there's nothing. There's no movie.
That's not true. The art stands without him. Without he made it and he let it go. He doesn't have to stand it, explain it, or anything. It exists now.
He made it. He made it.
And it's not just him either. Let's not forget. It is a group effort. So. Right.
He wrote and directed it though.
No, I understand. I'm saying is I don't agree with you. Or just leave it at
that. It's fine.
I think we've explained it to death, and I don't think we're going to get any farther with it. So
yeah, no, it's fine. Well, like Sopranos, you're like.
I haven't finished the show. So.
Oh,
I got to, I think the second.
Man,
season.
you've got a lot to chew on there at the end. It's.
What season did he beat that guy up for fucking up that hooker? Was that season 1 or 2? I was really early in the series, but like he takes that one guy out back and beats the shit out of him.
It's season 4. Season 4.
Okay, that's like the last episode I remember watching. But that's where I am in that series. I got to restart it. That was like years ago.
That season, I'm almost certain it's 4.
Yeah,
it's with the guy from the Goonies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stout?
Paulie stealing money. I love Paulie.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi. You guys done talk about this? The wrestler, Aronofsky.
We're done. Sorry.
I would love to do a commentary breakdown with you. I would love to do a breakdown with you and we just discuss the ending of that movie, man. Just step by step, frame by frame, you know.
If I'm jumping, yeah, he died.
But that's
I could watch it a different time, be like, you know what? Maybe he lived. Maybe he went and chased her.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he's in the hospital. He survives. He goes after her, and she says, "No, we're done." But what is that? That wouldn't give us any new information. And if they were happy together, they wouldn't give us any new information because it was never about that per se. It was about him. It wasn't about them. It was about him. We saw his story, and we saw the important parts of the story. That's how I see it. Anyway.
I think it's interesting that a movie that is now like 10 years old at least is creating this kind of discussion this many years later. That's telling right there. That's telling.
I love that shit.
All of Aronofsky's
That's how you know it's excellent.
like that, though. That's why you know he's such a great director. I mean,
all of Aronofsky's films are like that.
I haven't seen it. Well, you said there's some interesting things in that actually you'd like to actually talk about, but no one else has seen it, right?
I didn't hate it. I felt like it was a fucking. There's just this fucking vegetarian, you're a murderer if you eat meat kind of bent to it that just fucking
I wonder if that's
pissed me off.
No, I think that's like some people's interpretation of the Bible, right? Like
oh my god.
That's so
that
weird.
being said, like there was he brought his stylishness to it and it was pretty good. I thought it was decent. Although, it's obviously like a religious film, but the thing is, like, I heard a lot of people who are religious who didn't like it because they felt like it went too far from the
That's how you treat it like a
Bible,
fantasy film, that's why. You try to treat it like a fantasy film, and there wasn't a lot of information in the Bible, guys. Let's be honest here. It's pretty vague about the details.
You want to talk about interpretation? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, let's get a point to the fact where, like, the actual book itself is an interpretation of supposedly the Word of God, right? And everyone's like, yeah, but it's the Word of God directly speaking to him. Like, no. Directly speaking to him. Not through him. Still under his control. He's still writing those words. He's still interpreting it the way he sees it. The rest of the mushroom cult didn't agree. Christianity's mushroom cult originally. Built upon the priests and shamans going on mushroom trips, but that's neither here nor there. Well, that's a whole other 2-hour discussion we can have. Since we've been here for 2 hours. No. Yep, 2 hours, 1 minute, 49 seconds.
That's how that shit happens when you're having fun.
I think we're finally out of steam, though.
What's left to argue about?
We've gotten so far. So Brexit. Anyone? No, I'm kidding.
What'd you say?
The Brexit vote. No, I'm kidding.
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Britain leaving the European Union vote that's happening right now.
Oh.
The hashtag is Brexit. It's being facetious. I don't actually want to talk about any of that. Yeah, I think we're seeing finally the dawn of equal film. We're going to see more than just the United States represented in film, and that might bother you, but I mean, I think they're coming from multicultural conglomerates. It only makes sense.
Well, I think it's important to stress the fact that if it bothers you, that doesn't necessarily mean you're xenophobic or that you hate people from other cultures.
Right.
It's just that they haven't seen this shit before. We've seen it a million fucking times before. We have every right and reason to be fucking tired of it. And we have every right and reason to be pissed off that we're going to keep getting more of it.
Because they're happy to see this shit.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, and no one's saying you're racist or xenophobic at all. Anyone who thinks that they would just split and they have their own movies. I get it. Well, like, here's the thing you don't understand. Alibaba, they're making movies next. They're not just producing movies. You're going to see a film in the U.S. starring Western actors, produced, shot, written, entirely made in China. And it's going to go over like gangbusters. And that's the future world you're going to see. You're going to see movies made in other countries doing well here, as well as countries here doing well there. It's going to be a global economy finally. As I've always said, the internet is bringing the democratization to all the arts one at a time, and that includes blockbuster filmmaking. Because now it's easier than ever to promote your movie worldwide. Then that's not necessarily a bad thing. It'll be a bad thing for a while. We're going to get a lot of shitty movies, but hopefully it'll get better. You know?
My thing is, you have 25 screens.
Yeah.
You put fucking China on screen 17. You put India on screen 19.
Please put India in more movie theaters. Yeah.
Just give me the green room on screen 25, please.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Can you also do American independent cinema and foreign independent
For
cinema? We have enough screens, you know. I'm saying you don't have
40
to
minutes
monopolize
from
it.
New York City. I should not need to drive 4 hours to go see something like the Green Room. That's insanity.
You should have it during its entire theatrical run. The Green Room should be playing at
Right.
any one of the multiple mom and pop theaters in your area, at least. Well, and the thing about me is, like, I'm not saying monopolize an entire theater all day. Hell, if the Green Room only plays 3 times one day, it's at noon, at 2, and at 4, and then you move it to Civil War for the evening show, I can live with that. Like, I get it. You know, but just give us options, please. You know?
It's really, I mean, it's just so strange. I don't, and especially when you think about, like, I'm dying to know if there's some sort of shit going on behind the scenes that these theater chains had to, like, with a gun to their head, had to accept, because theaters don't make money. The first week of movies out, they make like 10% of that ticket price. So, like, they have even less reason to be like, yeah, please give us 8 prints of that so that we can just make fucking pennies on the dollar here. Like, even more reason for them to be like, all right, well, let's get that independent film that's just kind of lingering out there for the last 3 weeks. They make more money off of that.
Something that occurred to me that we didn't really consider is the fact that theaters don't get a lot of money in that first week opening. Maybe that needs to change too. Maybe they should get a little bit more money on the opening weekend, huh? Maybe we should be nicer to our theaters so they'll actually exhibit our movies. Because all it takes is NATO going, no, we're done. We want money. We want the money for the first week, or go fuck yourself. The end. The end. And we're not budging. We're not going. And here's the thing, NATO, you can't be spineless. And you gotta be willing to lose money. And you gotta go. No, here's the thing. I'm not putting Civil War out there. This is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna put Civil War out there, and I'm getting 50%. I'm getting 50% of the box office, or I'm not putting Civil War out there. And you all have to stand united and you have to say, that's how this is gonna be. And you know what? They're going to say, no, too bad. And you're like, okay. And last minute, they'll give it to you for 50% of the box office. They want money. You just got to have the balls. You got to have the balls. You have to have the conviction to stand by your fucking beliefs. And when they don't give you Civil War, you delay it weeks on end. Guess what? Their movie won't get fucking released.
No, because then Marvel says, no, thanks. We're all set now. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Civil War coming straight to VOD. $40. And people say, giddy up and fucking dump. They dump money.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's this threshold. And if it were something like Civil War, that would be the official crossover to fuck theaters. They're officially this fucking foregone thing, like what drive-ins are now. If you took, like, ultra A+ level modern new releases and just threw them on VOD, that would totally change the landscape.
You can't do that. There are contracts. You take them the fuck. You go, oh great, let's go to court then. We'll go to court. NATO goes, we'll go to court. Cool. Let's open your books studio. Oh, you want a settlement? Fine, we'll go to settlement. Oh, okay, so 50%. Okay, we're back to 50%. But have the balls to stand up to a corporation, and if they won't back down, fuck them. Then don't distribute any of their movies. Done. Bye. Okay. Guess what? Guess what? Multiplexes now. All those independent films, and you want to go to a movie with your family. Well, why isn't Civil War here? Where's Ghostbusters? Oh, well, they didn't want to play ball, so they took their movies. Oh, then we'll go see this movie because we're already here and all my kids are screaming, and I want to go see this independent animated film because the kids want to see a movie.
Right.
I'm telling you, man. You gotta have the balls and the conviction
my
to stand.
point is, stuff like that, the theaters can't have the balls because they need Civil War in their building to draw people in.
They think they do. That's the problem. They think they do. Because here's the thing: if Civil War doesn't get there, someone else was willing to give you 50%, and someone else is a blockbuster that they want to put out there. Maybe Sony's like, you know what? Hey, we've got Independence Day. We'll take that Civil War time slot. We'll give you 50%. Now ID4 is the biggest fucking movie release that weekend. I mean, like, there's gotta be some play here, and you gotta just have the balls to play it.
No, I think the fact that they tried going the VOD route, and NATO said that's not, we're not cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with that there was some sort of back alley fucking handshake deal where
Always is.
where they said you got to give us like 8 prints of Civil War then, or other things like it, and suddenly we have what we have right now, and it's not good.
See, it made sense. And see, I understand that this whole started because they needed to recoup costs for striking 8 prints per theater, right? So I get it, but guess what? That doesn't exist anymore. So you're taking all of the money at the first week. Doesn't need to exist anymore when it costs you 14 cents to send me the DCP projected file that I can then copy to all my projectors. So guess what, motherfucker? I'll give you 14 cents. I'll pay you back for the 14 cents of bandwidth it costs you to upload the fucking thing to the server for me to download it. Because that's how much it costs. That's the reason that costs. That's why the reason why they got fucked in the beginning with is it costs money. It doesn't cost them money, so they shouldn't be fucking the theaters anymore. That's my point.
Right,
but they continue to fuck it.
But the problem is people like Disney are like, we don't fucking need you anymore. We're doing you a favor.
No, they do need them because they won't make as much money on VOD. They just won't. They won't make $600 million in VOD. I just don't think it'll happen. Not yet. Right now is the time to stand up, not 5 years from now.
There's enough to argue about because theaters are horrified by the idea.
Oh, of course, because they're
theaters have nothing
scared.
to worry about. Why not let it happen?
No, they're scared shitless because they don't understand how they could monopolize it. Because all those VOD movies, they want theaters. And if the big players, they want to go straight for VOD, guess what's going to hit those theaters? You're going to fill those screens up with movies that want that space. Fuck, a lot of those independent movies will pay you to project their movie. They pay you to project their movie. So, guess what? I just don't think that the Hollywood thinks they have the clout, but they'll miss that $300 million in theatrical. They'll miss it. They'll miss it dearly. It'll hurt. It'll hurt them more than it hurts the theaters. Because the theaters will just fill with holes. It'll hurt the theaters. It will undeniably, it'll hit them hard. But you know what? You have to you can't let a massive conglomeration rife with corruption run the fucking system, or you're always going to be under the thumb. You will always be under the thumb of corruption if you let corruption happen. The end.
The problem is you can't have 25 screens of independent films and not have that IQ88 film. IQ88 isn't going to go see Green Room. IQ88 isn't going to go see It Follows.
There are a ton of independent films that are IQ88 films. Trust me. You can look at Netflix.
Yeah, but not enough to sustain a 25-plex movie theater.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Every week in VOD, there's like 25 releases. There is guaranteed to be enough movies. Enough 88 IQ movies. Enough 110 IQ movies. Enough 14 IQ movies. There's the whole gamut in independent film. The whole fucking gamut exists. No one's looking at them because they don't have the place. But guess what? The big players don't want to play. You give them the place because that's what you have to do to make money then, right? You fill your theater with movies. And they're cheaper. And you get your fucking money up front.
If that were the case, somebody would be doing it right now, though.
It's because they don't have it's because they don't have the balls. That's the thing. They just don't have the conviction. That's why. Because companies don't have conviction because they see numbers. Because they have board of directors. And there's 10 people, and all it takes is that one anxious dude to get everyone else riled up. What if we don't make $1 billion this year? We only make $500 million. Oh my God! Like, God forbid you don't make $1 billion this year. I mean.
No, because if they're making jack shit on Civil War and independent cinema would pay them to hold their shit, that's more money right there.
That's because right now, currently because concession stands make up the difference. But if we were to, and here's the thing, if you were to get here's why I hate this idea that they take all the profits from the first week. If they didn't, and they instead took 50% like they do 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out. I can't remember when that starts. All right, things have changed. It probably just depends on the movie. All right, I'm sure bigger movies go out even farther, or whatever. Who knows? Okay, but if you lower that from, hey, we get all the profit from the first week because we're greedy pieces of shit, to 50%, you still make tons of fucking money. And guess what? Ticket prices and concession prices can go down then, and should go down accordingly. Because they don't need to fuck you, because they need to make up that first week's money because they're being fucked by someone else. The reason why your tickets cost so much, the reason why your food costs so much, because they're eating a bunch of dicks from the studios. The studios would stop making them eat so much fucking dick. They would stop making you eat so much fucking dick. You know what I mean?
Well,
like that's
yeah, yes and no, because you know
it's
the
never that
theaters,
simple, obviously, but
the theaters, they're making it 100% of the popcorn.
of course,
If Disney said, hey, you know what, we'll go down to 50, but we want,
you lower the prices of the tickets.
No, if you're gonna sell fucking popcorn for $20 and they're going to see our movie, why don't you give us 15% of your popcorn?
That necessarily wouldn't be a bad thing if they're getting more upfront from the movie. That might actually benefit them monetarily. That actually would be an interesting trade-off. So instead of losing 50% of money for a week, you lose 15% overall. It's technically more money, but it also means that you have a chance as a theater to make bigger returns in opening weekends. That's a gamble I would take as a theater. I would take that. Yeah, I'd counter 10%.
Right.
I mean, would probably come to 12 and a quarter or something, some silly number in the middle. But that actually would be a interesting option.
Yeah, it's just there's.
What about offering to theaters bundles? Like, here are the options. You can take half the money up front, or you could not, and you get more. You know what I mean? Like, and why don't they a la carte it like they do everything else? That's the thing. We live in a world super easy to do a la carte, so let's a la carte it, huh?
Wait, I understand what you mean.
A la carte means piecemeal it, meaning. Okay,
no, I understand, but how do you mean by movie theater
It's
term?
super easy in this day and age to a la carte anything, because technology makes it super easy to compartmentalize things. All right, so it's super easy to track things like concession sales versus the arcade versus the coin machine. You can track all this shit. So what I'm saying is you can say, all right, so here's 50. Here's we get all the percentage for the first week, or you can get this much percent. We take this much percent, but we take one of these things, or you can take this much percent, we take two of these things. You can compartmentalize the percentage you take from each section, and then the theater, depending on what they make and what they can decide what's best for them. I'm saying give the theater the option to decide what's best for them instead of giving a blanket rule for every theater, right? Because that first week might kill a smaller theater, because maybe they don't sell concessions as much.
It does kill a small theater. I mean,
so that's what I'm saying.
People smuggle in fucking McDonald's and shit. You don't realize how big a deal that is, but it fucking murders some of these people.
So that company might take the 10% off concessions, because sure, they'll cut in their concessions, but they won't get murdered as much during the first week, and it'll probably net gain them a little bit of money. In the long run, that would be beneficial, and you show goodwill to your people. The thing is Hollywood doesn't think about the idea of showing goodwill. They just think, I need money, 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 give me money, 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 money.
Yes, I agree, but I don't think theater chains are these godly people.
Of course not. No. And there are no saints. There's no saints.
Well, the way you presented it,
they're only devils. There's only degrees of devils, all right? But what I'm saying is it's really easy for you to make it more affordable, and it's really easy to offer flexible plans for people, and easy for everyone to be happy. And then if you look at other industries, they make it tantamount to make their customer experience important to them, and they see great rewards and loyalty because of it. And if Hollywood would engender the same thing from the people they did business with, they would go a whole lot more, and maybe they would stop perpetuating this industry, this image of money-grubbing lawyers, which is what they currently harbor as their image, because of the way they treat their other vendors and the people who want their customer base. They're the middlemen. They treat everyone like crap, And maybe if they engendered a little more kindness to everyone down the chain, maybe things would be a little nicer for everyone else.
And all I could say is Napster. Napster.
You can't stop piracy, and that's not piracy either.
No, I'm just saying, ask the music
All of it.
industry how they'd feel about arguing over dollars and cents
Oh,
pre-Napster, and if they'd love to go back to whatever
but
they were fighting about back
no,
then.
no, 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 no. You can't bring that argument up because you can never go back.
I can do whatever the fuck I want.
No,
I can
you
hang up
can't
on
go
you.
back. Go ahead. Bye. We'll keep talking to your audience until he goes off air. But no, I think it doesn't matter what was before. This is the new now, and they've done fantastic job making plenty of money through a la carte music services.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not as much
but
money as it used to be. They're never gonna make as much money as it used to be. Wrestling's never gonna make as much money. TV's never gonna. Nothing's gonna make as much money as it used to be. There's too many options, and now with the democratization of art and the democratization, I said it the first time, just fine, of commerce, processing, and with PayPal and Etsy and all those other, and Store Envy and a million other services, VHX for digital distribution for your movies, YouTube, all of this makes it so that I don't need those companies anymore. That's why all those companies don't make money. I don't need them to get my movies seen anymore. I just got to put it up on YouTube and get word of mouth. And I don't need money for that. I need legwork and something notable about it. Something worthwhile talking about.
It's just strange when you hear about these multi-billion-dollar films over and over again. Each year, I'm certain Dory's going to be a billion-dollar film. You keep hearing about these billion, multi-million, this, that, the other. And sure enough, oh, well, the theater chains are, people aren't going to the movies anymore. Well, what the fuck, man? You keep talking about how great money is. Like, what is it? Are
They
you
don't
making a
actually
ton of
make
money
any
or you not?
money. They're always losing money every year because they have creative bookkeeping. I went through a economics of film class. So the way it works is, so now we take a movie. So we'll say we have a $30 million movie. All right, that's not including advertising. That's just the movie. That's the production, all the way up to editing and oftentimes distribution. Though oftentimes that's different, and you also oftentimes piecemeal that out to a different company, money-wise. So that's sometimes dealt with otherwise. Sometimes that's dealt with up front, and that's your budget for the movie. That's okay. But what happens is at the end, they take the advertising budget. Well, it's usually a third or more, oftentimes equal to, especially for a large budget movie, it is sometimes equal to the budget of the movie in just advertising. So for a movie to make money, it takes 3 times that cost in their books, per se. It doesn't actually cost them $300 million for advertising because they own the TV, they own the company that does the advertising for them. They don't actually spend any money because it's just Warner Brothers moving $300 million of their capital to a different leg of their multi-conglomerate. But they market it as a loss. Now, when the movie doesn't make $900 million, or in this case, $90 million, we're sticking with that. So $30 million advertising budget. It goes out there. Maybe it hits Ghostbusters. Maybe it makes $200 million. Well, distribution, and then we had home video mastering, and then music rights, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then we'll just keep itemizing lists. And we had that cast wrap party we had to pay for, and there's that itemized that expenditures list, and then there was this, and then that. On down the list until it does make money. And that's what they do. Every movie, no matter how much money it makes, they do whatever they can to make it just barely not making money. So they don't have to pay out residuals. They don't have to do it. And when they make gangbusters, they have to do it anyway. They have to pay. So when it does a $300 million opening weekend or $100 million, they have to pay residuals because you can't hide it. But, because otherwise you get Peter Jackson suing New Line when they made $1 billion on Lord of the Rings and he didn't see any residuals for that shit.
So, I guess long story short, it seems as if we're either going to have independent movies available VOD day one, or independent films in theaters, and then some of these big fucking films available day one.
Or all of them available day one in both. I mean, just make it available and let us choose, right?
Yeah, all available in VOD or all available in the 25-plex.
Or I think just all both. Like, just release them in both and just let the audience choose where they want to view it.
Well, I think it's funny we see, you look at a Blu-ray, or even a 4K disc, and you see that they've got like each one has like 3 or 4 different ways to watch it. You got your DVD, your Blu-ray, and digital copy with all
Sometimes
that.
4K now, yeah.
Yeah, 4K. They got the Blu-ray and the digital copy with the 4K disc. I mean, they're giving you every possible way to watch it when it comes
Complete
to home
slippity
video.
cover.
When it comes to home video releases, they're giving you literally every possible way to watch it. They're just like, here, watch it any way you want to.
And then they release it on YouTube and Amazon.
When it comes to the original release of it in theaters, here, watch it in theaters, and then eventually we'll let you watch it some other way.
Yeah.
Like, no. The reason that people are buying your releases, home releases, is because you're giving them so many different options for how they can watch it. Maybe if you gave them that option from day fucking one, you'd be making more money. Just a thought.
Do you think that if they decided to universally do day one and movie theaters, that they'd make more money?
Yeah, especially if they made them $19.99 day one VOD. Your choice is go to the theater for $20 or sit at home for $30. You're $20, your choice. It's gonna be the same price. You just choose what venue you want it in, right?
I don't know if they'd be up for doing the same price. They'd want to charge you more for staying home.
But they shouldn't.
Especially considering a family of 4 can sit down for $20 or go and pay $80.
Yeah. The family of 4 is also not likely to go opening weekend. A lot of like family of 4 and higher oftentimes wait for unless they're well off, wait for the cheap theater, and then they all pile
right,
into
but then you split the difference.
Yeah.
Split the difference and say, all right, well, $30 opening day.
Yeah,
and you're still saving.
I would say start it high and then if lower it until you find a happy medium. Because as you lower it, you're going to get a decline in theater sales, right? So you got to find a part where you kind of equal them. So there's a decline a little bit here, and you're not getting as many as you want here, but like everything's copacetic, right? You've maximized both revenue streams. That's how you're supposed to do it. So yeah, you started at 40, and then oh wow, we only got like 100,000 downloads. What if we go to 36 next month? 36. Oh, we hit 200,000. Oh shit. Okay, we go to 30,000. Oh, we only got 100,000. Fuck. You gotta, because you go too cheap and people won't buy it. It's kind of weird. It's a weird phenomenon. Oh, so yeah. I mean, like it's an interesting. But yeah, I mean, as long as it's at least the cost of the theater ticket, I think it would be good or fair. And I guess part of that you probably have to subsidize from the theaters, or they're going to throw a fit. So I would say for opening while the movies the first week of release, you probably have to do some sort of payout to the theater per sale. I guess I don't know. You might have to come up with some sort of balancing act.
Sorry, I'm sorry. What was the last thing you said? I'm sorry.
Another problem is because of NATO, you might have to come some sort of a deal where you have to give a percentage of the on-demand sales to the theater chains or to NATO.
That's something they were working out, and the chains blocked it.
Because they probably wanted to give them way too little. That's right. Why? They're already fucking them. So how about don't fuck them? Give them a decent price on the VOD since it costs you nothing.
I think it was something like they offered what would have been $15 out of 50, and then
that's fair. That's more than fair.
Yeah, dude, like that's what I'm saying. Like you're talking about theater chains, and like they're being a little bitchy in the whole. Like I get it. They're being smartly stingy because if this goes through and it starts working, they basically sign their own death warrant.
Yeah.
But my thing is, you have the control. You have 25 screens. And unless they sign some sort of crazy thing that they need to have 8 copies of Disney Superhero Part 7.
But like a lot of these costs were brought up and implemented because there was a cost up front, right? That doesn't exist anymore, so these costs are archaic, and the system is archaic, so it needs a revamp. And if you don't agree with me, you're archaic.
Yeah.
That's the answer. If you're archaic, bye. It's nice knowing you. Bye. You're getting replaced. And guess what? Every single one of those people who are in power at the studios, bye. You're going away soon. Just 10 more years and you're all going to be gone. Replaced by the people who you fear the most, who understand us the most. And it's going to change. And you're all dinosaurs, and I can't wait till all of those dinosaurs die. All of them.
Skynet?
Yes, them too. They're dinosaurs. They're just waiting to go extinct.
Justin?
Well, people who don't like change, you know?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Thoughts? I have no thoughts.
Preferences?
Preferences? Well,
Donuts. I prefer donuts.
yeah, I was gonna say I like donuts. Dr. Pepper is a good drink. Yeah, I don't know.
Think we're finally out of energy here? 2.5 hours later?
I just it would be really interesting to see what a kick in the ass, maybe even just a scare. Just you know what, we're not gonna put Secret Lives of Pets in the theaters because we want to see how it goes, and then
Or
it's like
Ice Age Meltdown, or whatever it's called.
yeah, whatever, something moderately decent, and it goes and makes like 300 million opening weekend on VOD.
Hold the fuck on. Wait, the new Ice Age is called Dino the Dinosaurs?
No, that was either the third or fourth one.
How is that possible? The Ice Age came after the dinosaurs.
Nobody cares about that. This is a movie for the 88s, bro.
Fucking hell. That's a good point. IQ 88. IQ 88. You're right. I need that as a shirt. Just a giant IQ 88.
Oh yeah, so I think if they just had a scare, just all right. So we're gonna have blank. Yeah, the Newborn's gonna be available VOD day one, and we're just gonna try it to see how it works.
Fuck that series.
I hate that.
Worst shot series.
Theory.
I know. Continue. I'm just bitching.
And it goes out and it makes 300 million, and then suddenly NATO's like, whoa. All right, so what do we need to do?
Mm-hmm.
I would encourage that because I think somebody needs a scare. I think major studios need to start not making. Listen, I'm fine with I'm not against any one movie or another. I would just like a better selection available
in the
Paramount.
Yeah.
Right. If there's 25 screens, I would like at least 10 choices. I mean, that's I can't believe that's as crazy as I think it is, but 10 choices in a place that has 25 screens.
A scare is what does it. Historically speaking, if you look at like all the big movements in cinematic history, they've all come about because of some kind of a scare. Or some they got scared about something,
A lot of wars happen because of that. A lot of wars end because of that. Yeah,
well, like you could at least out here, you could see that they're making this conscious effort. I mean, all of these theaters on Long Island now, they're starting to just put this massive wave of recliner theaters. Just nothing but recliner movies. Massive wave of hot food. I mean, I had chicken fingers and fries today.
Draft House started the revolution.
Yeah. So like they're trying, and it's like, all right, guys, you got your asses covered. Now just give the people a reason to get here.
That's the thing about theaters is they're no longer going to be general exhibition. They're going to be destinations. So a lot of these multiplexes, they're going to die. They're going to die. They're going to go away. It's going to be a matter of time. Because as things go to digital distribution, it's going to be like the good theaters, the theaters that are interesting and unique and fun to visit are the ones that people are going to go to. Some chains are going to get it. There's probably going to be a chain that gets it. They'll be in the big cities. But a lot of these rural places, mom and pops are coming back. They're going to have to. Nothing else is going to survive. And you're going to go see Civil War 3 in, it'll be like one of the 3 mom and pops that have sprung up in the last 10 years,
And I think
Or at home.
I think studios have to start owning the fact that on a Wednesday in June, you have a packed house to see a 15-year-old movie, but not a 2-week-old movie. What's the problem? You have to start owning that.
Yeah. Make your movies worth
listen.
seeing in the theater. That's the answer
Right.
to that, I think.
Right. Right. Just because you wanna cut the middleman out doesn't mean you have to fucking cut the fucking customer out. That's retarded.
You don't have to cut out the middleman either. You just gotta equip your middleman with the new technology so that he can survive in the new economy. Or he dies and then you give someone else the ability to do that. Because you can't own all 3 parts of exhibition. So they own a theatrical and distribution, which I think that law should have been you can't own any. You can only own 1 part. And I believe they skirted around that law by having multinational corporations that are registered outside the country. So that upper corporation owns the theater, it owns the distribution company, and owns the studio, but it doesn't. But there's companies, intermediary companies in between, so it doesn't break any laws. Like what the fuck? That shouldn't be allowed either. That's anti-monopoly shit right there.
Did Midnight Special open near you guys?
No, nothing opens near me though, so that's nothing new.
That one did not, to my knowledge, open near me.
Let me go through a who's list here.
Nice Guys did, and Neon Demon is.
Yeah, Nice Guys is another studio film that's an original property.
Don't get me started on that movie. Do not get me started on that movie. Wow, I look like a clown.
Really? I think that movie looks really good, so I don't know if that was a negative.
It's great. It's a great movie. But it just got buried.
Well, here's the thing. Spec scripts, original ideas don't sell currently. They just don't.
Dude, Shane Black does not need to prove himself to people like that.
He doesn't. He doesn't need to prove himself at all. That movie's gonna make money. That movie's gonna make plenty of money on home video and on VOD for cinephiles like you and I and people who are watching this video are gonna watch it. For the most part. Some of those people went to the theater. It's just, like I said, the economy's in the shitter, right? So a lot of people are out of work.
No. I'm not letting movie theaters and studios off with the economy bullshit. I'm sorry.
It's still a factor, regardless of.
It's a factor, but it's not. We're not in this ultimate depression where people aren't going to movies because of. We are in a depression, but not like if Star Wars only made $500 million, I'd say, yeah, you know what? People aren't going to movies anymore. But people are finding a way to go to movies, man.
Well, we find that people do go and do entertainment during depressions, and we're in one. That's why we're seeing billion-dollar box offices. We're in a depression because people are spending all their extra money on their entertainment instead of a lot of other shit they could be doing, right? A lot of frivolous shit. Now they have to now entertainment's important to me. So we're in the middle.
Wait, you just said that they're not going because of depression.
No, I'm saying the box offices could be bigger if there were more jobs and people with jobs. There are a lot of people without. So what I'm saying is it could be even better if our economy wasn't in the shitter. We would be having even bigger box office. But when half the country's not working, or not saying that far, it's like under a quarter of the country's not working at all. It doesn't even get counted as looking for work anymore, and thus not even counted in that number. Then there's definitely money not being left on the table essentially, because people aren't earning the money to spend, right? We're at a record box office because we're in a depression, because the people who do have money are going to spending all their available money on their entertainment. And their entertainment, they're choosing movies and video games, basically. Those are the big ones right now. Video games are... I don't know.
The Lobster?
Oh, yeah. I think that one was near me. I'm 2 hours away, but near me.
What movie?
The Lobster.
Lobster?
I don't know. No idea.
Everybody wants some.
Everybody wants some of what?
Did that open near you?
No, I don't think so.
Yep. Google Hangouts, what are you doing?
Camera off.
Like it probably did because a lot of things open in Portland, but like, I recently moved, so I guess what you mean is did it open near where I was? But I don't know.
Yes. Previously.
Yeah.
And the answer is most likely
Probably.
Portland gets most of those movies.
Yeah, at least one or two theaters get those movies.
Portland's a
Green
good
Room.
town to live in if you love movies, you know.
Green Room makes $3 million despite being only on 700 screens. What do we have here? Everybody Wants Some. 3,400,000 despite being on 400 screens.
That's
Midnight
not a lot of
Special.
screens. Yeah.
Yeah, 3.7 on 521 screens.
And that's why movies like The Witch are getting made and all these other smaller movies, because you can see budget things like that happening, right? So they know they can make movies and still make enough money if you make a small enough budget film, right?
And that's why they push the horror forward, because the horror can get made for $500,000.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, put it out there because we're not going to take a hit.
Unfortunately, sometimes that means you get shit like The Gallows and you want to fucking slit your wrist at the 30-minute mark.
Well,
And hope you bleed out before the end because you don't want to sit around that long.
what I want to see is I want to see them doing what they do with horror with a bunch of other genres. I want to see them taking other genres and saying, well, I can make a movie in this genre that's pretty good for $5 to $10 million. You can't make a good sci-fi movie for $5 million? Duncan Jones did it with Moon.
Dude, Mad Max made bank. Why aren't there like 50 theatrical movies right now that are post-apocalyptic? They're like the cheapest fucking movies to make. Just make 10 $5 million movies that are post-apocalyptic. Just fucking get them out there. I'm telling you. Like, it's not... Just give me some other genres, you know? Put them in theaters.
Yeah, there's just this weird period. And it goes back to what I talked about with the Back to the Future, all this weird shit. Granted, stuff like Turbo Kid, stuff like what was it called?
I love Turbo Kid.
Turbo Kid, the other ninja, fucking anti-Hitler. Fuck, what was it? It was only half an hour long.
Kung Fury.
Yeah.
Fury.
Kung Fury.
Sorry.
They're doing a sequel to you.
Thank you, Cheech.
I had a long bowl of medicine, sorry.
Kung Fury's not here, man.
That's why the camera's off, so that,
Well, for the record, medicinal. It's prescribed, so.
Well, I wasn't doing it on cameras. It's all good.
Right.
I'm shopping.
Right. What?
Huh?
Your vape? What are you talking about?
It's what? It Follows did well. John Wick.
Right. And John Wick.
John Wick 2. Oh my God, John Wick 2 is gonna be so good. Anyway, sorry.
No. Like these are movies that are they completely fresh? No.
They don't have to be.
But right. Well, but like people enjoy them. John Wick, thanks to word of mouth and people finally getting it, like borrowing it, renting it, hearing about it. It's a movie that didn't do incredibly well, but is now going to get a sequel because it was a good movie and got passed around and
sold gangbusters on DVD and VOD,
right.
like Gangbusters. I rented it, dude. I was like, I gotta rent this fucking movie. There's so much buzz about it, I gotta rent it. Saw the trailer, like, I gotta rent this fucking thing. Pay $5.99 to rent this goddamn movie for 24 hours. Fucking amazing.
So,
I pay $5.99 to own it. That's why I buy those movies because I rent them usually before I buy them.
There's something to be had there. Stuff like John Wick, stuff like It Follows, stuff like Ex Machina didn't get a really proper release. Everybody Wants Some, Green Room, Midnight Special. These are all movies.
Another one.
Babadook. These are all movies that are listen, they're not perfect original. Some of them actually are. Moon. Fucking
Girl Walks
God,
Home Alone at Night was super, super awesome and fairly original. And the thing
I've never heard of that.
Girl Walks Home Alone at Night? You've never seen that?
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Write that down. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
Yeah.
I believe it's on Netflix or Amazon Instant, some one of those two.
Now I have 2 movies to watch on Netflix. Damn it.
What was the other one?
Stretch.
The show. Yeah.
Oh, and people, places, things. Write that one down too.
Hold on, I gotta let it load.
Fair.
But I mean, I look
Ow.
at what's going on, and I say to myself, if I'm,
Oh my God! It's
if
like you said you shit on yourself. I'm sorry.
I shit on myself.
I shit on myself.
I say to myself, if I'm a producer, or if I'm working with a production company, I'm a head honcho there. I'm trying very hard at this point to suggest to everybody else around me that we spend $5 to $10 million producing a film, and then spend another $35 to $40 million advertising that film. And that's what we should be doing with the majority of our time. And that doesn't mean we have to spend all of that money only on horror movies or only on this genre or that genre. We can go into any fucking genre we want to with $5 to $10 million in this day and age, where you can get a Red One camera for a very low price, relatively speaking, and
It's only
make
$2,000, dude.
make a movie that you can put on a big screen and not get laughed out of the theater. All right.
If you get a $5 million budget, you can spend $100,000 on equipment and still have $4.9 million to make a movie. You know?
So if you're in that kind of world where that much of the film industry has been democratized, where you can make a movie that looks like it belongs in the theater for $5 to $10 million or less.
I can do a fucking theatrical movie with this $1,000 camera. It's that good. It's that good.
The problem becomes a matter not of paying to get the movie made. The problem becomes a matter of advertising that movie. And if you're not spending enough money to advertise that movie, you're not putting it enough, not distributing it enough into enough fucking theaters, then that's your fucking fault. All right? That's something you're not doing right. That's your problem, and that is the problem you need to be fixing. The problem that they're having is they're spending $150, $200 million on these big old fucking tentpole movies that they don't need to be making.
Well, they don't have to make as many. They should make them. Movies provide awesome amounts of jobs, bring lots of amount of growth to wherever they're done. They serve a purpose, and fans love them. So I'm not saying get rid of them. I'm saying maybe not make
one or two
less.
less a year.
Make at least one less to make
and then you can make 5 to 10. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you could advertise those properly and distribute them properly with all that extra money.
You make 5 to 10 movies and give them $5 million movies and $5 million advertising budgets, and or even $15 million. You can give them a lot bigger advertising budgets than their actual budgets, because it's more important in this case, right? Like shit.
Or you could not. The way they test movies needs to be fixed too, because I want to know.
Broken.
Yeah, you have to fix things. You need to studios should hire people. They should have like a crew of maybe 50 people, and they have a horror guy, a drama guy or whatever. The point is you can't have a group of people that just want to watch a free movie and free orange juice and cookies and talk afterwards, and they're going to tell you, well, I didn't like this new movie because I don't know, just change it, the ending sucked. No, you shouldn't trust a multi-million-dollar property in a group of 88s, so to speak.
IQ 88s, say it right. It's copyright. It's trademark for a reason. It's my thing. So I'm totally doing shirts.
I've already bastardized it and I'm calling them 88s now.
I'm actually gonna. I've already decided for one of them. I'm gonna do an Image Comics type logo for the IQ part. Anyway, continue.
It's just. I forgot what I was saying. What you do is, instead of making that $250 million property, you make 10 little things. And you could even do this thing where, instead of dumping $40 million into marketing one of those, if one of them doesn't cut it for you, you just straight to DVD.
Put in VOD. Like I said, put it in theaters, put it in VOD, advertise it, and tell us it's available on both, and we decide how we want to watch it, and we'll give you our money if we want to watch it. That's it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know, like
Right.
happens.
No
Sometimes you
pressure.
miss. Sometimes you don't get a fucking home run. Sometimes you get a ground ball. Sometimes you get on base. Sometimes you don't. You know, like the way it goes. But have faith in your product, and also test screenings to see if you would change an ending. That's bullshit. You know what you do? Have faith in. Take an artist, have him pitch an idea. If you like it, give him the money, and then let him go do his idea. And then you release his idea, and then that's all you need to do. And either people will like it or they'll hate it, and that's neither here nor there, and you can't do anything about it. But have faith in the people you give money to. Don't undermine them and undercut them at every turn by rewriting things, and making them change things, because it's not testing well with audiences. Well, your audiences are stupidly chosen, for fuck's sakes.
Jim, I agree. A-Team is awesome.
Yep.
And we're just talking about Joe Carnahan before. As far as I'm concerned, since Smoking Aces,
He needs to be on the show. That's what he needs.
Yeah. So they're telling me that Stretch is awesome, and I believe it because I enjoyed the hell out of Smoking Aces. I loved A-Team needs a sequel. I really loved The Gray. So I haven't seen Stretch yet.
Hey, wait the fucking minute. You love The Gray, but you have problems with the end of The Wrestler? They're the same ending. You don't get an answer in either movie. And you're okay with The Gray? You hypocrite!
I never said I have a problem.
I know. I was just being a jerk. Okay. Stop it on the joke, man. Fuck.
Oh!
Jesus.
Joke stomper.
Joke stomper. How does it feel to be called a joke stomper?
Oh, God.
How does it feel to be stumped?
Shut up.
Stompers become stompy.
No, it's fine. I love The Gray. I own The Gray. I'm just fucking with you, man. It's cool.
What score would you give A-Team? I would give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Ooh, that's high.
For what it is? For a dumb action movie?
Okay, subjective, I give it an 8 out of 10. Objective, I give it a 7 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
The problem is there's a lot of problems with CGI in that film. So for me, like, from a purely like not being a fan of it, like just like if I look at it just as a movie, it's a 7 because there's a lot of flaws. It's still a fine film, but I'm a huge fan of the fucking movie, so it's an 8 out of 10. I mean, like, I get it. Like, there's 2 scores for every movie, right? Sometimes they're the same. But no, so I was asking what your opinion of that. I was curious.
What plane? When? Recently?
Recently.
I love that movie. I love that movie.
We'd rather try and hang out on the plane, you know. It's just
Why is he trying to shoot? No, he's trying to steer the tank.
No one thinks about it. The best part is it doesn't. And the best part of the movie is it doesn't think about the repercussions. Where are those shells going? They're above populated areas. They just shelled 4 or 5 times cities, probably towns. A park got hit. The A-Team just killed 15 kids at a school park. They didn't mean to. That's why they're fugitives. I mean, think about it. Like that's you can go so far with them in the sequel with that. You've got the perfect impetus. They just shelled an American city unintentionally.
Oh no, that was in Germany, wasn't it? When they fell from the sky.
But that's what I'm saying is they unintentionally shelled a city. So that's an impetus to make them wanted criminals, right?
Yeah.
Beyond what they did in the movie, just that right there, they're like, now the media's against them, everyone's against them, but secretly there's this underground task force to help you. It's a perfect setup for a sequel. It doesn't have to be a big budget either. You can do a $20 million A-Team.
Right.
It doesn't have to have a giant CGI set piece.
Right.
You know? It can be ridiculous and not be crazy over the top, you know?
Dear Fox, give us $30 million.
Smoking Aces, not big budget, but over the top.
But like Joe Carnahan appears to be quite comfortable. Is Stretch kind of like that? Because the Gray isn't really like that. The Gray is kind of reserved.
Stretch is very much over the top and fun.
Is it
zany even in some?
I'm excited.
Instances.
Maybe I'll watch that tonight.
It's more comedic than some of the comedies that have come out in the last couple of years. It's funnier than most of those. Though I did see Neighbors recently. I was very surprised by that. I was expecting not to like Neighbors. I was impressed.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
6.5 out of 10. I was like, wow, I do not oppose owning this. Some comedies are terrible. They're just terrible. Bridesmaid was bad. I liked some. There were some really funny moments in it, but overall, it was badly made. Like not the comedy. Comedy wasn't the problem with Bridesmaid. The Bridesmaid was the construction of Bridesmaid. It was just badly shot and made.
Well, why don't you just put different outfits on them and go to the movie theaters on July 15th and let me know how you feel about Bridesmaids, New York City, Fighting Ghosts.
I believe that this director is a much more competent director than the person.
It's the same one?
I know.
It's the same guy.
I know. I'm hoping he's got a different cinematographer, is what I'm saying. Maybe he's learned something, huh? Hopefully.
Yeah, that's where the savior will be.
Yeah. I'm hoping I think it's gonna be good. I really do. I mean,
it's gonna make $40 million, just like I said.
32.
I say 100, but I realistically I only need to make 70 million to win that bet because it's got to be.
I'm gonna laugh if it makes like 8 million. I'm be like, oh my god.
If it makes 8 million, I would be shocked.
So for those of you at home who don't understand what's going on here, we have a friendly bet between the two of us where Skinslip has profoundly declared that Ghostbusters will pull in 100 million opening weekend, just a 3-day. We're only talking about 3-day. And Stout has said 40 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what did I say, 35?
You said 35.
Yeah.
Which means
35.
Which means at 37.5 or higher, CP wins that. At 34, the 35 point forward lower. It's sorry, the other way around. Right, switch that. 0.4 or lower, CP wins. 0.5 or higher, and Sal wins. Meanwhile, at like 71 million, I win. All I have to do is break its projected 50 million by 20 million, and I win. So it's not even that hard for me to win this bet. We're just for me to.
It's pretty fucking hard, bro. It's not gonna happen.
No, I'm saying, but the odds. It's like I say 100 million, but for it to be closest to my number, it doesn't actually have to be 100 million. It has to only be 70 million. So the number I need is actually lower than the number I want, right? So I don't have to. It doesn't have to try so hard. It could easily be a $70 million movie though, and still not win the weekend. By the way, it could do a $70 million weekend and still get destroyed by Finding Dory. You know, like that's the sad thing, right? Finding Dory hits 80 million, and then everything else is less than 70 million. Maybe it tops the box office for new releases, but the whole box office is completely scattered. We've never seen that, but that's possible. It could happen, you know?
So basically, anything under 37.5 is a win for me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Above 37.5 up until
something in the 70s.
9.9, right?
That's
that
right, yeah. Yeah,
is a win for Stout?
Yeah, 70 million or up or whatever it is. Yeah.
Oh, 70 million.
No, 70 million up's away. Yeah, and 70 million up is for me. Yeah.
And Skinslip needs a nice $70 million weekend at the very least.
Yep.
So keep your eyes peeled, folks.
The winner gets $40 basically.
Like no, the only thing that's gonna make 70 million around that time is Secret Life of Pets. That movie is gonna have like a $70 million opening at least.
Second weekend, yeah.
God, that's gonna destroy. I think. Man, that box office is gonna be a fucking wasteland. It's gonna be a wasteland.
I'm excited.
Devastation. I bet you. Okay, I'm guessing it's gonna be like 70 million, and then like everything's gonna be less than that, and it's just gonna be like whatever is top. It's gonna be like 70 million. It's just gonna be a scattered box office. I bet. Nothing's gonna make a huge box office, but nothing's gonna be like hugely tanking, except maybe one or two things. I think it's gonna be crazy scattered. Because there's a lot of things that are like, wow, there's a lot of decent flicks that are coming out, you know? Or at least
I like Stoudman's odds too.
Yeah.
Hoarder just said he likes Stoudman odds.
Oh, Hoarder wants 60 mil. Okay.
Yeah, the first Skinslip came out and said 100 right off the bat, and we were like, that's how this kind of came to fruition.
I was really high, to be clear. I'm really high now, to be clear.
So it's a day that ends in Y. And I think, Stoud, would you first come up with 30?
Yeah. At first
yeah,
I said 30. I was like, well, I'll push it to 40.
Yeah, and then I didn't know what to do.
He was originally going to do 40, but Stout took it, and I'm like, shit, man.
I really wanted to do 39, just to
But that's really
price
fucked
is
up.
right. I know.
Yeah.
That's what I
And I said that's
what I
a really
wanted
dick
to.
thing to do. We're not trying to be cutthroat. You know, it's friendly.
Yeah.
35 was the happy agreement. You know, like okay, there's only a 5 million gap.
Come on.
Just give him a little breathing room. Fuck, man.
So
Just don't ride his ass. That's what I'm saying.
anything pixels, like, I do all right. Anything, I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I really do. I think 45 is about right. It says.
Well, yeah, they're saying 50 million, which is about that's what the estimates are. Yeah, and and then there's something's gonna be 70 million, something's gonna be 77 million, and something's gonna be 60 million, and Ghostbusters gonna be at the end of that fucking box office and nothing.
Because
Won't be
this
that much,
internet,
but
even the people that are hating on it, there's this
70,
internet
50, 30,
culture of knowing. There's, people are gonna go watch it just so that they could hate on it.
exactly.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's what I'm counting on.
Yeah.
That's what I'm counting on.
But are that many people going to see it because they know they're going to hate it?
So bad it's good movies sell so well that the Draft House once a year comes out with a new one to put out on Blu-ray, so probably. I'm guessing people love their bad movies.
What did Fantastic Four do again? Because that's what I think is going to happen.
Look at Sharknado. They've got 4 of those pieces of shits.
That's
There's
different.
7.5 hours of shitty shark movies out there, guys. In the same
Opening
universe.
weekend for Fantastic Four was 25.
God. That's fucked.
I think it's going to be similar for Ghostbusters.
Fuck. That's a brutal one.
I hope so.
But the thing is, I don't think that there's as much of an audience for Fantastic Four as there was for Ghostbusters.
Yeah, you know what? I agree.
I think so.
I think
right.
Fox just has yet to really learn that maybe people just don't want to watch Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four is perfect for the small screen. It's perfect for a TV show. It's a family drama show with superheroes. That's what it should be. It's perfect for like Netflix or the small screen. 100% perfect.
Yeah.
It should be on Fox. It should be right after Gotham. It should be Gotham and Fantastic Four. And then it should be this fucking hour of awesome superhero drama. You know?
2 hours. Haven't been
2
an hour
hours.
long show, not half an hour.
You're right.
Any closing statement, guys?
Yeah, I've never been to the Sharknado movies.
You never what?
I've never been to the Sharknado movies. That's my closing statement.
Oh, okay. Well,
And that's
good.
the bottom line, because Skinslip said so. Thank you very much.
Oh, wait, you just read the final, what Jim put in the chat, right? Is that what you...
No. I was agreeing with him.
That was an incredible coincidence?
No, I was agreeing with him.
Stout?
My thoughts are that they need to make more movies for less money. Like I'm a cheap ass, right? So I think about it like a cheap ass. I think about how can you save money while making movies and then make more money off of them in the end. And it just seems obvious to me. You spend less money on these movies, on their production. You put more effort into advertising them and distributing them, and profit.
Fuck, Zach.
If people know that a movie's coming out, even if they don't think it's going to be very good, if you spent $5 to $10 million on it, who fucking cares if they think it's going to be good or not? They're going to go fucking see it, you know?
Right.
Especially if you've got it distributed in enough theaters and you've advertised it enough. If enough people know about it, it's in enough theaters, they're going to go see it. They're going to pay for the fucking movie to be made, essentially. So,
Yep.
Guys,
I don't get it.
go ahead.
I don't get why they don't do that with more movies. I don't get why that's only a thing for fucking horror movies. It needs to be a thing for every genre.
Even sci-fi.
Genre. Westerns.
Yeah. Dramas.
Somebody needs to learn.
Dramas, come on.
It needs to be a thing where like maybe BFG only makes like 20 million or something. Where it's got to be a thing where they learn and they don't get coddled with the worldwide number. And that, unfortunately,
not
That's gonna take a while.
Right.
Wait until
exactly.
China enters the market with their first movie. That's when that stuff will start happening. I think that's when they'll have to learn. They have to.
2020 is about when it's going to start happening. My theory on
That's a
that.
good number. Yeah, that's a good number. 2020
So we've got a few more years of crap
when the
nobody wants to see.
That's when they're projecting the first Chinese produced movie, big budget blockbuster will be released. That's what they're aiming for. China is. So it is. So
yeah.
Good number.
You guys have anything to plug coming up on your channels?
I got videos every day, bro. Come to my channel. It's youtube.com/c/skinslip or user/skinslip. You can also just type in Skinslip. It's me in a band. Fuck the band. I've had the name longer. That's it.
Fuck the band. I've had the name longer.
Yep.
It will be in the description.
I'm not doing.
IQ88s, bro.
I'm not doing much of anything. I do have a video plan of like, it's not like exactly a move video since I just moved, but it's about my move, and yeah.
Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific, Media Meisters, me and Lylesburg will be live on my channel. That's where we talk all media, physical media. This week we have no news, so we're probably just going to talk about physical media in general. So there just was no news this week, really. A few things. That was it.
All right. Well, there you have it, guys. Their stuff will be down below when you watch in the future, which, if you're watching now, will be in the future. I just want to thank both Skinslip and Stoudman for joining. Even though Brandon and Justin, I said your names a couple times, I might as well just say it here. Thank you guys so much for taking part.
No big deal, William. You know, I love you.
Son of a bitch.
Big Willie style.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, despite everything we talked about today, the arguments we had, I still love you, but let me refrain from saying that.
Okay, Willie, I still love you.
Oh my goodness.
No, there it is, guys. I was gonna be polite and nice, and
then your friends shat all over you.
That's what I get. That's what I get.
I hate my friends.
All right, guys. That's
You're
it.
Skinslip. You really are.
Go see something good.
Yes.
Anything.
Bye, guys. Shows. Gonna be in so many theaters.